What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 2HT Chapter 26, Obtaining Samahada's 100-fold Reward. What a pity, Konoha's taijutsu ninja, Ye Huo sighed secretly. In Sharingan's view, the flame in Might's heart gradually extinguished. The red steam gradually receded. Might Day's body was chapped, and his whole body seemed to be burnt. The 7 people who were lucky enough to survive, Black Hole Leia, Loquat Juzo, and Watermelon Pufferfish Ghost, were already scared out of their wits, endured the pain, and fled to the Kingdom of Water. Damn, what on earth is that? Loquat Juzang held the broken beheading sword, his eyes full of horror. It's not a ninjutsu. My Samahada didn't absorb any chakra. The Watermelon Puffer Demon covered his chest, his words filled with disbelief and horror. It can't be physical skills, right? Black Hole Leia couldn't help but speak. In his heart, he felt a little lucky to be kicked away. Otherwise, he might be the one who dies. The 3 of them really didn't want to stay on the battlefield for a moment. However, at this moment, a loud roar suddenly sounded above them. Sage Art has a lot of extra large great fireball techniques. Black Ho Thundertooth, Loquat Juzang, and Watermelon Pufferfish Ghost suddenly looked above their heads. 100 super large great fireballs with a diameter of 10 meters fell from the sky. Each fireball is like a small sun. The blazing high temperature and the terrifying heat wave suddenly hit. Blocked all their ways. The 3 people were swallowed up in an instant. Boom boom boom. A terrifying explosion sounded. The area within 100 meters became a sea of flames. The terrifying heat shock wave instantly dried up the nearby vegetation. A raging flame ignited. The flames continued to spread in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the area within a kilometer radius was transformed into a sea of flames. Whoosh whoosh. 3 figures jumped out of the sea of fire. It is none other than Black Ho Rayleigh, Watermelon Pufferfish Ghost and Loquat Juzo. At this time, the 3 of them were even more embarrassed. There were burns everywhere, especially Loquat Juzang. There is no intact part of his skin. Loquat Juzang gasped for breath. Damn, who is he who can still use such a powerful fire style here? I heard that there is a divine fire ninja in Konoha. Could it be that he is here? At this moment, the 3 of them suddenly felt a darkness above their heads. Bunta, come out. In midair, Ye Huo completed the seal and thrust his hands into the void, and the huge Wen Tai was immediately summoned. The sky also suddenly darkened. Disperse quickly. Loquat Juzang roared and jumped away instantly. Black Ho Rayleigh and Loquat Juzo also jumped aside. Boom. Wentai's huge body hit the ground hard. A gust of wind and waves swept in all directions. The fire suddenly expanded a lot. Wentai looked at the flames around him, frowned, and a loud voice rippled far away. You brat, why is it always this kind of ghost place? Hey, you have actually mastered the intermediate sage body. Not bad, you are indeed my little brother. Ye Huo said quickly. Boss, kill these 3 little fleas first, and I will give you a good knife. Oh, what kind of knife can you have? A sword that will never break. Okay, but if you dare to fool me, I won't forgive you. Don't worry, boss. You are my boss. How dare I fool you, boss? You use oil and I will use fire to burn these 3 fleas to death. Good. Swipe, Wentai and Ye Huo quickly formed seals. Sage Art Toad Oil and Fireball. The yellow river-like toad oil instantly ignited a huge flame, impacting the Loquat Juzo and Watermelon Puffer Ghost in front. Loquat Juzang quickly formed seals with his hands. Water-style water wall formation. A wall of water suddenly appeared, blocking Toad Oil's fireball. But the next moment, the water wall was instantly washed away, and a large amount of water vapor evaporated, causing the Toad Oil to be burned more fully. The power of the flames increased several times again, and Loquat Juzang was the first to bear the brunt. He let out a shrill scream and was engulfed by the flames and burned to ashes. The Watermelon Blowfish Ghost waved Samahada and blocked it in front of him. Samahada kept absorbing the chakra in the flame of Toad Oil. The power of the surrounding flames gradually weakened. Ye Huo frowned. This Samahada is really difficult to deal with. 8 inner gates are open. Ye Huo's mental shackles were completely lifted. Physical fitness increased tenfold. Ye Huo shot out electricity in an instant and almost instantly arrived in front of the Watermelon Pufferfish Ghost. He kicked the Watermelon Pufferfish Ghost on the left temple with a sidekick. Watermelon Pufferfish Demon is indeed an elite mist ninja. Sensing the danger, he tilted his head slightly and used Samahada to block it in front of him. Snapped. Ye Huo kicked Samahada and the Watermelon Puffer Ghost and flew dozens of meters away, breaking several big trees. Ye Huo wanted to rush over again, but suddenly found that the intermediate magic chakra in his body had been reduced by 1/10. It's Samahada. It's really difficult. Ye Huo's expression changed slightly, but he did not rush forward immediately. In the sea of fire, the Watermelon Pufferfish Ghost slowly stood up, holding Samahada and suddenly laughed. It's really delicious chakra. I want all of your chakra. The Watermelon Blowfish Ghost waved Samahada and rushed towards Ye Huo. Prepare to absorb the chakra of Ye Huo again. Ye Huo snorted coldly and took out the seal scroll instantly. Ye Huo formed a seal with his hands and shouted, "Open." In an instant, high-level ironwood puppets shot out one after another. Ye Huo's chest instantly shot out hundreds of chakra rays and shot them at the high-level ironwood puppet. Red secret skills are practiced with hundreds of machines. This Samahata can absorb chakra. This puppet has no chakra. 100 ironwood puppets instantly enveloped the watermelon and pufferfish ghost in the center. The first 10 ironwood golems rushed towards the watermelon pufferfish ghost. The watermelon pufferfish ghost's pupils shrank and his hands quickly formed seals. Water-style water wave impact. In an instant, a circular shock wave was formed in all directions with the watermelon puffer ghost as the center, and the 10 ironwood puppets were immediately rushed away. But more ironwood golems rushed over. Swords, guns, swords and halberds were shot at the watermelon pufferfish ghost at the same time. The watermelon puffer ghost rolled away like a rubber ball. Another 10 high-level ironwood puppets rushed over. There is no way to avoid the watermelon and pufferfish ghosts, so we can only fight hand to hand. Ping ping pong. The weapons kept hitting each other, and the watermelon pufferfish ghost kept knocking away the ironwood puppets, but more puppets rushed up. Finally, the first sharp blade penetrated the abdomen of the watermelon pufferfish ghost. The watermelon blowfish ghost roared loudly, swung Samahata into a circle, and smashed several high-level ironwood puppets. Then more high-level ironwood puppets rushed over. Poochie, poochie, poochie. A series of sharp blades were inserted into the body of the watermelon pufferfish ghost. With a flash of cold light, a sharp blade cut directly through the watermelon pufferfish ghost's neck. A head suddenly flew high into the air. Blood spurted out from his neck. The fat body collapsed to the ground. After killing the watermelon pufferfish ghost, Ye Huo went to look for the black Ho Rayleigh, but he was nowhere to be seen. Probably, he ran away. Ye Huo took a deep breath and looked at Samahata. Samahata clung to the body of her dead master and refused to leave. Ye Huo stepped forward and grabbed Samahata's knife handle. Samahata suddenly seemed to be electrocuted, trembling. At the same time, the system sound sounded. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for getting the sword Samahata close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 Samahata. 2. The power of Samahata is increased 100 times. Chapter 27 famous in all countries, I choose 2. The next moment, Samahata's trembling became more intense. At the same time, a feeling of closeness came from Samahata's body. It seems that they are friends who have known each other for decades. Samahata's knife hilt was wrapped around Ye Huo's arm. Waves of pure chakra flowed into his body. It takes almost a split second. The chakra in Ye Huo's body is full, enough is enough. Ye Huo hurriedly stopped Samahata from giving him chakra again. He was afraid that he would be burst. Samahata seems to understand Ye Huo's thoughts. Chakra is no longer delivered. Samahata's body looks like a big fish. Ye Huo scratched his head. It's so big, it's too much trouble to carry it by yourself. As soon as he thought of this, Samahata's body shrank rapidly. In the end it was only 1 meter long. Moreover, the sword ruler on the Samahata sword seemed to be sucked to death. Absorbed on Ye Huo's back. Ye Huo Yishi. I didn't expect Samahata to have such a function. Ye Huo moved his body. The movement was not affected at all. Hey, kid, where is my uncle's sword? Wen Taihong's voice sounded. Ye Huo smiled. Wait, boss, I'll give it to you right now. With that said, Ye Huo walked towards the broken beheading sword. He picked it up and handed it to Wentai. Here, boss, this is it. Wentai looked at the beheading knife that was smaller than a toothpick to it, and said angrily, You brat, are you trying to trick me? Ye Huo smiled mysteriously. Boss, don't worry, wait a moment. Ye Huo inserted the beheading knife into the body of the watermelon pufferfish ghost. The body of the watermelon pufferfish ghost suddenly began to shrivel up, and the beheading sword recovered a lot. Wei Ran's beheading sword absorbed the corpses of several other 7 people. Only then did the beheading sword return to its original appearance. Wentai let out a light sigh when he saw this. This knife is really unique. It's not bad, but it's a pity that it's too small. Haha, isn't it easy to grow bigger? Ye Huo breathed a sigh of relief. This hundredfold reward is exactly what he needs. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for getting the broken knife beheading sword. 100 times reward trigger. 1. Reward 100 beheading swords. 2. The knife length is increased 100 times. Ye Huo stuck the beheading knife on the ground. A wicked smile appeared on his lips. I choose 2. The length of the beheading sword will be increased 100 times. The next moment, the beheading sword grew rapidly. The ground reaches a terrifying 168 meters. Including the underground, the entire blade is 198 meters long. Like a straight sword. Ye Huo wrapped his arms around his chest and laughed. Boss, is this sword big enough? Bunta looked up at the sword, mouth opened wide. I couldn't help but uttered a curse word. Damn, isn't this 2F King big? Boss, I'll give you this sword. Whether you can use it or not depends on your ability. Wentai snorted coldly, I have learned the magic of immortality. How can I be treated like a mere sword? Bunta jumped up suddenly, grabbed the handle of the knife, pulled out the big knife, and put it on his shoulder. Boom! Wentai fell hard to the ground. The weight of the broadsword plus Wentai's weight immediately produced a huge airwave, which directly lifted Ye Huo away. FCK. Ye Huo cursed loudly, and Wentai's laughing voice could be heard in his ears, good knife, good knife. Wentai swung his sword and chopped hundreds of trees with one blow. The wind howled and the strong wind swept across. The severed branches were completely swept up into the sky. The nearly 200-meter-long sword was tricked by Mrs. Wen. With this broadsword, Wentai's strength has been raised to another level. Okay, brat, I owe you a favor this time. I'll leave first, ha. Mrs. Wen was very excited to get the sword. Then it turned into a puff of smoke and disappeared, returning to Mount Myoboku. Bunta returns to Mount Myoboku, plunged the 200-meter sword into Yamanaka. He yelled, Guang, come on, let's compete with each other. After a while, a toad gong jumped over with 2 long knives on his back. Toad Guang was shocked when he saw this big knife. Brother, where did you get such a big knife? Wentai laughed loudly, stop talking nonsense, come and practice with me. Toad Guang shook his head repeatedly, no, I still have to practice my magic, I'm leaving first. Toad Guang ran away, and Wentai smiled even more proudly. Previously, the huge explosions and destruction caused by the battle between Guy and the 7 Mist Ninjas had attracted the attention of Konoha and the Mist Ninjas. A large number of Konoha shinobi and Mist Ninjas ran towards this side. And when they were getting close, they saw the giant great fireball falling from the sky and Bunta. At that time, they did not dare to get close and could only watch from a distance. Knowing that Bunta disappeared and the flames gradually extinguished, the ninjas on both sides dared to get closer. So, under the attention of Konoha and Mist Ninja, Ye Huo carried Samahada on his back, picked up Guy's body, and walked out. The 2 ninjas looked at the ruined battlefield. He looked at Ye Huo again. Konoha shinobi's eyes were filled with shock and joy. The Mist Ninja looked horrified and disbelieving. This kid? Who is it? The flame futon belongs to the Uchiha clan. Uchiha, there is such a powerful fire-style ninja. I heard that Uchiha produced a peerless genius, Uchiha Ye Huo. A few months ago, Platycoden Castle used a terrifying divine fireball to pull out dozens of Sand Shinobi's sentry towers in one fell swoop, and burned the Sand Shinobi summoning beast 3-headed serpent to death. Known as the Sacred Fire Ninja of Konoha. Uchiha, you deserve to be the largest clan in the ninja world. Such a genius is really terrifying. They just watched Ye Huo walking past them step by step. Knowing that Ye Huo's figure disappeared, the Mist Ninja did not dare to attack. The Konoha ninja followed Ye Huo. Protecting Ye Huo, he returned to Konoha's frontline position. For a time, everyone in Konoha was talking about Ye Huo, looking at Samahada behind Ye Huo from time to time. That was Samahada of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist Ninja. In the previous battle, 80% of the results were achieved by Might Dai and Ye Huo fighting fiercely against the 7 ninja swordsmen. Now that Might Dai is dead, I wonder how many casualties there were among the 7 ninja swordsmen. Not long after, the Mist Ninja sent an envoy to suddenly sue for peace. Konoha suspected that there was fraud, and they found out after some investigation. Of the 7 members of the Mist Ninja swordsmen, 6 were killed in the battle, and only Black Ho Thunderfang was left with a serious injury. However, within a few days, Black Ho Lei Ya died of serious injuries and died unexpectedly. In other words, the entire army of the 7 Kirito ninja swordsmen was destroyed in this battle. The sudden loss of 7 elite Jonin was a big blow to the Kiri ninja. Konoha found out the reason and agreed to make peace with the Kiri ninja. Then, such a piece of news quickly spread throughout the 5 major countries. Konoha Might Dai and Uchiha Ye Huo teamed up to annihilate the 7 Mist Ninjas, reverse the decline of the Fire Country, force the Water Country to surrender, and win the victory on the Eastern Front battlefield in one fell swoop. At this moment, Rock Shinobi took the opportunity to launch a massive attack on the Land of Fire. Hokage sent an order, ordering Orochimaru and Ye Huo to rush to the northern battlefield to support Minato. Ye Huo received the order and requested to go to the northern front battlefield first. Orochimaru agreed and at the same time sent 2 Jonin teams to follow Ye Huo and head north first. Chapter 28 The Owner of the Bloodline of Ice. Ye Huo and the 2 teams quickly galloped towards the northern front. About a week later, Ye Huo arrived at a special place. It was already late autumn, but winter had not yet arrived. But here it is full of snow. Looking around, the world seems to be made of silver. Ye Huo suddenly stopped, and the 2 Jonin teams also stopped. Master Ye Huo, what's wrong? Hyuga Hizashi asked. Ye Huo at this time was enough for him to use the honorific word, sir. Ye Huo didn't answer, looked at the snow around him and asked, where is this place? Hizashi looked around and then said, it should be a snow village in the Kingdom of Water. The climate here is very strange. Winter comes much earlier than elsewhere. Snow village? A name came to Ye Huo's mind, Bai. Shiro is the most tragic character in the Hokage. Because it possesses terrifying power. And don't think of it as a devil. Bai's father therefore killed Bai less. In order to protect Bai, Bai's mother died under Bai's father's sword. In anger and fear, Bai unleashed his ice blood and killed his father and villagers. Then began to wander alone. On a snowy night in winter, Bai leaned on the bridge railing, wondering whether he should continue to live. At this moment, he met Zabuza. Zabuza filled the hole in his heart. It became the only sustenance of his soul. In the end, he died for Zabuza. Whenever he thinks of Bai, Ye Huo feels a little sad. The blood of ice is a monster in the eyes of these stupid snow villagers. But in Ye Huo's opinion, it is the most cherished thing. Ye Huo said slowly, Hizashi will stay with me, and the rest will go to the northern front battlefield first. The other Jonin frowned, Master Ye Huo, our mission is to protect you. Brother Hizashi is enough. The northern front needs you more. Jonin had no choice but to leave first. Hizashi was very happy. Lord Ye Huo chose to stay by himself, obviously believing in himself more. Master Ye Huo, why do we stay here? Hizashi looked around, but there wasn't necessarily anything attractive. Brother Hizashi, use your Byakugan to help me find the village here. Hizashi nodded, forming a seal with his hands, and veins suddenly appeared around his eyes. After a while, Hizashi said, there is a small village 3,000 meters north. Let's go. Ye Huo flew towards the north. After a while, Ye Huo and Hizashi arrived outside the village. Ye Huo said, Brother Hizashi, you stay here, I will go there alone. After speaking, Ye Huo walked towards this small village. There are dozens of families in the village. It was still early at this time, and there were many children playing outside. Ye Huo runs Sharingan and looks towards these children. None of the children here have chakra in their body. Obviously not the person he was looking for. At this time, the children in the village also discovered Ye Huo. When they saw the scarlet eyes, they turned around and ran away in fright. The adults in the village also discovered Ye Huo. They rushed out one by one with hoes and shovels and yelled at Ye Huo, where did you come from, you little monster? Get away, get away. Ye Huo is even more certain that this should be where Bai Union lived. Ye Huo's eyes swept across the crowd and finally landed on a woman. Inside the woman, he saw chakra. Ye Huo looked down and saw a sweet-looking child in the woman's arms. There is a weak chakra in a child's body. Ye Huo felt happy, but still retreated. Villagers in Shuiken strengthened their defense today. But for Ye Huo, it is just a lie. Ye Huo followed the woman and child into the cabin. The woman came to the door and was frightened when she saw Ye Huo standing in the house, but she was not as alarmed as the villagers. The woman asked, who are you and what do you want to do? Ye Huo looked at the child. The child was hiding behind the woman, sticking his head out and looking at Ye Huo with his big eyes. Ye Huo said slowly, it's not your fault that you have ice blood. As soon as these words came out, the woman's face changed drastically. Ye Huo knew that the mother and son in front of her must be Bai and Bai's mother. I don't understand what you are talking about. You are not welcome in my home, please get out. Ye Huo's Sharingan started turning rapidly. He activated hypnosis, Sharingan's unique genjutsu. The chakra in the woman's body becomes disordered. But the woman herself cannot feel it. Ye Huo said slowly, I can give you a safe environment. No one will be afraid and want to kill you because of your blood. On the contrary, you will be respected and honored because of your bloodline. I will wait for you here for 3 days. If you think about it, just shout, divine fire, and I will appear. As soon as the words fell, Ye Huo's figure flashed and disappeared from the house. Bai's mother let out a sigh of relief. When the door opened again, Bai's mother suddenly became nervous again. When she saw it was Bai's father, she breathed a sigh of relief. Father Bai saw that Mother Bai looked bad and asked, what's wrong? Bai Mu shook her head, it's okay. 2 days passed in a row. During these 2 days, Bai Mu couldn't eat well or sleep well, and she seemed very lack of energy. When carrying water, my feet were unstable and I stumbled, causing the bucket to fall over. Bai Mu was in a hurry and subconsciously used chakra, and the poured water automatically flew back into the bucket. At this time, Bai Mu suddenly reacted and used that strange ability herself. She hurriedly looked toward the door, only to see Father Bai looking at her with a horrified look. Bai's mother stretched out her hand and was about to explain, but Bai's father was so frightened that he turned around and ran away. Bai's mother suddenly became nervous. She returned to the house and looked at the sleeping Bai. She didn't know what to do. Boom. The door outside the house was kicked open, and Father Bai broke in with a knife and a group of villagers. Bai Mu looked horrified. Dad, what are you going to do? Bai's father pointed at Bai's mother and shouted, you evildoer, I am so blind that I would marry you. Today, you, this evildoer, and this little evildoer will all die. Bai's father roared and stabbed Bai's mother with a knife. Bai's mother was in a panic, and a stream of water caught the knife in Bai's father's hand. Bai's father was frightened and said in a hurry, what are you waiting for? Why don't you take action? The villagers all carried shovels and long knives to stab Bai Mu and Bai. Bai was so frightened that he cried loudly. and Bai's mother's heart was as sharp as a knife. In desperation, she finally sounded Ye Huo, and then shouted, "Sacred fire." Next moment, boom, a fireball shattered the wooden planks. Ye Huo flashed into the house in an instant, and Samahata swept away the villagers in the snow village, protecting Bai and Bai's mother behind him. The villagers stood up, cursed and threw shovels and long knives at Ye Huo. Ye Huo waved away these attacks and said slowly, "Have you thought about it?" Bai Mu gritted her teeth and said, "I was able to use that evil power just now. It was you who did it, right? There is no distinction between good and evil in power, but in people." Chapter 29 Wentai's 200-meter-long machete. Ye Huo continued, "You are right. It was me who cast the illusion on you, and you were able to use the power of ice escape. But you have to understand that you can hide your abilities, but children can't. You will be discovered sooner or later. At that time, you will only die. I just made it ahead of time, but this can save your mother and son's lives. If you want to survive and be respected and loved by others, come with me." After saying that, Ye Huo carried Samahata behind him and walked away step by step. Bai's mother hugged Bai and glanced at her husband. Bai's father yelled at Bai's mother, "Get out of here, you evil monster, get out of the snow village." With tears in her eyes, Bai's mother could only pick up Bai and follow Ye Huo. There was a smile on Ye Huo's lips. "Ice escape, I received a powerful boost." Hizashi walked over at this time, glanced at Bai and Bai's mother, and didn't ask any more questions. Due to the relationship between Bai and Bai Mu, their movement speed dropped off a cliff. He walked less than 30 miles in one day. In the early morning of the next day, in the white snow, the four of them set off again. Hizashi suggested, "Sir Ye Huo, our speed is too slow. Why don't you let me carry the adult and you carry the child?" At this moment, fog appeared in the suddenly clear sky. Hizashi's expression changed, and he quickly formed seals with his hands, saying, "White eyes. Master Ye Huo, this is the Mist Ninja, 1 Jonin, 10 Chunin." As soon as Hizashi finished speaking, 11 Mist Ninjas had already surrounded Ye Huo, Hyuga, Shiro and Shiro Mu. "Hizashi, protect this mother and daughter." After saying that, Ye Huo stepped forward and looked at the leading ninja. This fog ninja has a forehead protector on his head, a white mask, and a pair of fierce eyes. Ye Huo raised the corner of his mouth and said slowly, "I really didn't expect that I would meet the water-style genius of the Kiri ninja, Momochi Zabuza here." The leading ninja was stunned for a moment, then narrowed his eyes slightly and said slowly, "It seems that Konoha's intelligence work is really good. But I didn't expect that the majestic Konoha fire ninja would turn out to be a doll. Stay Samahata and you can get out alive." Ye Huo glanced at Samahata behind him and raised the corner of his mouth, "Okay." With that said, Ye Huo threw Samahata towards Zabuza. Zabuza was stunned for a moment. He really didn't expect that Ye Huo would really give him Samahata. A kind of ecstasy surged into my heart, and I grabbed the handle of the knife. But at this moment, long thorns appeared on the handle of the knife, instantly piercing Zabuza's palm. Zabuza yelled that it was not good, and suddenly stepped back, and began to form seals quickly with his hands. Ye Huo's eyes and 3 Magatama turned rapidly, copying Zabuza's handprint. Cho Shen Mao Zi Hai Yu Cho Wu Si Zi Yin Shu Yin Si Cho Wei Si Hai Wei Zi Ren Shen Yu Cho Wu Wei Yin Si Zi Shen Mao Hai Chen Wei Zi Cho Shen Yu Ren Zi Hai Yu. Water-style water dragon bomb technique. Zabuza roared, and a huge water dragon that was 3 meters thick suddenly appeared behind him. The water dragon roared and galloped, rushing towards Ye Huo. At this time, Ye Huo also took the opportunity to enter Sage mode. Complete the seal with both hands in an instant. Sage art fire style, lots of extra large great fireballs. Ye Huo opened his mouth and spit out 10 super large great fireballs with a diameter of 10 meters. In an instant, the 10-meter diameter great fireball directly smashed Firestyle's faucet. The subsequent 9 great fireballs collided with the water dragon, knocking it into pieces. Firestyle should have been suppressed by Waterstyle. But Ye Huo's Sage Art had so many super large great fireballs that it suppressed Zabuza's Waterstyle. Zabuza's expression suddenly became extremely ugly. The figure quickly retreated. Ye Huo grabbed Samahata and slashed at Zabu. Zabuza quickly formed seals with both hands. Water-style water wall formation. A Minato suddenly formed in front of his eyes, blocking Ye Huo's attack. Zabuza took the opportunity to escape quickly, and his figure disappeared into the thick mist. Ye Huo frowned. The mist shinobi technique of the mist ninja was really annoying. At this moment, Hizashi's shout came from the distance, "Master Ye Huo, be careful, there is another Jonin on the enemy side." At this moment, Ye Huo suddenly felt a strong wind coming from behind. Ye Huo raised Samahata and blocked it behind him. Clang! There was a crisp sound, and a ninja sword struck Samahata. Samahata immediately stabbed out a series of shark thorns, forcing back the attacking fog ninja. The mist ninja quickly retreated, but Ye Huo also saw clearly the face that looked like a shark. Hoshigaki Kisame? Ye Huo suddenly became solemn. Almost at the same time, he heard a soft drink. Big waterfall rushes into the waves. The next moment, with Kisame as the center, The water violently spurted out from the mouth and instantly formed a huge ellipsoid-shaped water prison, imprisoning Ye Huo in it. Ye Huo suddenly felt tremendous pressure. The chakra movement in the body becomes stagnant. Ye Huo looked moved. What a kisame, such water style, really amazing. Ye Huo bit his finger. Hai Shu Yu Shen Wei. After completing the summoning seal, Ye Huo slammed towards the ground. Boom. There was a loud bang. Bunta, who was carrying a sword nearly 200 meters long, was instantly summoned. What the hell is this place? Mrs. Wen was very dissatisfied, and of course she wanted to show off her sword. With a sharp swing, the entire water prison was instantly cut open by Wen Tai. Ye Huo jumped up and landed on Wen Tai's head. Boss, these fogs are so annoying. Can you fan it open? Wen Tai took a puff of cigarette and snorted, it's really troublesome. Then he raised the 200-meter-long beheading sword across his body and swung it with the blade. Suddenly, a strong wind swept through him, and the fog in the sky dispersed instantly. Ye Huo looked around and immediately saw Hoshigaki Kisame and Momochi Zabuza 300 meters away, looking shocked. Ye Huo curled his lips and smiled coldly. Hoshigaki Kisame, Momochi Zabuza, how do you know my whereabouts? Forget it, I'll capture you first, and then I'll interrogate you in detail. 8 inner gates are open. In an instant, Ye Huo's momentum surged tenfold. The whole person disappeared from Bunta's head in an instant. Hoshigaki Kisame and Momochi Zabuza's expressions changed and they looked around. At this time, the sound of Ye Huo came from above the two of them. Sage art fire style, lots of great fireball techniques. In an instant, 100 super large great fireballs with a diameter of 10 meters fell from the sky. The blazing high temperature and the terrifying heatwave impact instantly melted the snow. Hoshigaki Kisame and Momochi Zabuza's expressions changed drastically. What a terrifying ninjutsu. How much chakra does he have? Water style bursts into waves. Shuadong falls technique. Kisame and Zabuza teamed up to perform a wide range of water style ninjutsu. In an instant, the fireball collided with water style. Chapter 30. It doesn't matter if you don't accept it, just fight until you accept it. Rumble. Bursts of explosions continued to sound. The blazing fireball burns water style and creates bursts of mist. Mrs. Wen slapped her again. The terrifying wind pressure blew by, and the sky became clear again. Ye Huo fell from the sky, and Samahata slashed hard at Hoshigaki Kisame. Hoshigaki Kisame resisted with a ninja sword. He was directly thrown away by Ye Huo's powerful immortal power. Zabuza rushed over at this time. Ye Huo's Sharingan turns rapidly. Look directly into Zabuza's eyes. Sharingan comes with hypnosis. In Zabuza's spiritual world, he was burned and suffocated by the terrifying flames. In the real world, Zabuza's body stiffened and his skin became wrinkled. Ye Huo slashed it with a knife. Immediately he whipped Zabuza away. At this time, Samahata's size had more than doubled. A stream of pure chalk was introduced into Ye Huo's body along the handle of the knife. The large amount of chakra lost by just using the summoning art and the sage art and the great fireball were all made up for. The corners of Ye Huo's mouth curled up. Fortunately he knew enough. Come to the Eastern Front battlefield, got Samahata. The power of Samahata is so intoxicating. Hoshigaki Kisame in the distance wanted to use ninjutsu again. But suddenly his expression changed drastically. The chakra in his body was actually missing by half. He glanced at the enlarged Samahata, suddenly showed his white teeth, and made a weird hissing sound. Samahata's power is really terrifying. Uchiha brat, one day, I will get Samahata back. As soon as the voice fell, Kisami's figure disappeared from the place instantly. Ye Huo did not chase, but walked towards Zabuza and asked, who told you my whereabouts? Zabuza's body twitched, obviously resisting the power of the illusion. Ye Huo increased the power of Sharingan. Zabuza finally said slowly, yes, the roots of Konoha. At the root, is this old silver coin Danzo? Ye Huo was even more angry. Sooner or later, he had to kill this old silver coin. But, what should we do with this Zabuza now? Although Zabuza is currently only close to Jonin's strength. But in another 7 or 8 years, its strength will reach that of elite Jonin. If you can surrender to yourself, it will be a big help. I just want him to surrender, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Ye Huo rubbed his head. Forget it, don't think about it anymore, since you don't accept it, then beat him until he accepts it. Ye Huo unlocked Zabuza's illusion. However, Zabuza was still lying on the ground, motionless. Ye Huo was stunned. Didn't he untie it? Just as Ye Huo formed the seal, Zabuza suddenly jumped forward and stabbed Ye Huo in the chest. Snapped. Ye Huo whipped Zabuza away with a whip. Zabuza fell hard to the ground. He got up, turned around and ran away, but was knocked unconscious by Ye Huo, who cut him in the back of the head with his palm. Well now, there is one more person to carry. Ye Huo naturally cannot carry it on his own. Ye Huo waved to Wentai. Boss, go back, you are no longer needed here. Wentai took a puff from his cigarette and exhaled smoke all over the sky. It's really boring. It's over before my big sword can be swung open. Next time it's too big, please call me out. Bang. Bunta disappeared. This Mrs. Wen is really getting better and better at showing off. Ye Huo once again used the summoning technique to summon Toad Zhang from the Toad clan. Toadata is 5 meters tall, which is perfect for hauling. Ye Huo threw Zabuza onto Gama Tadashi's back. Then he threw the mother and son Bai onto the Toad's back. This group of people moved faster, on the way to the northern line. Ye Huo didn't tie him up either. If you don't flee, you will be captured. Zabuza sneak attacked him and was beaten half to death by him. In the end, Zabuzan was angry and asked Ye Huo what he wanted. Ye Huo pulled out 3 of Zabuza's teeth with a big mouth. Is this your attitude when talking to the master? Zabuza resisted and was beaten. If you resist again, you will be beaten again. Finally, Zabuza finally understood his situation. Obediently stay by Ye Huo's side. I cursed Ye Huo to die on the northern battlefield of Konoha. After more than 10 days of trekking through mountains and rivers, Ye Huo finally felt the battlefield on the northern front. When he arrived at the front line, Ye Huo realized that the fighting situation on the northern front was even more tragic than that on the eastern front. As soon as Ye Huo arrived, he was called to a meeting. Ye Huo was worried about Zabuza and asked him to go with him. As soon as he entered the big tent, Ye Huo saw Konoha's terrifying lineup. Orochimaru, Uchiha Fugaku, Namikaze Minato, Nine Tails Jinchuriki Kushina, Nara Shikaku, Hyuga Hiyashi, Akamichi Dingza, Yamanaka Hayi and other top figures in Konoha are all here, as well as Danzo and 2 elite Jonin from several routes. It can be seen that Konoha is determined to win the battle against Rock Shinobi this time. Ye Huo was slightly startled. He didn't remember that Konoha had deployed such a large lineup to fight against Rock Shinobi in the original work. Could it be that his appearance affected the plot? Ye Huo can only understand it this way. As soon as Konoha came in, these Konoha senior officials all turned their attention. Everyone was very surprised to see Ye Huo with a mist ninja next to him. Ye Huo said with a smile, "This is Zabuza Momochi. I met him on the road. After my careful persuasion, he is now a rebel ninja of the Kiri Ninja and serves Konoha. He is considered one of our own. You don't have to worry about it." Everyone looked extremely strange, but they didn't say anything. This time it is Orochimaru who is the master of the overall situation in the battle against Rock Shinobi. After experiencing the Second Ninja War and 2 successful combat experiences on the Western and Eastern fronts in the Third Ninja War, Orochimaru once again gained overall command of the Northern Front. Orochimaru's hoarse voice sounded, "Ye Huo just arrived and doesn't understand the situation. Minato, please explain first." Minato nodded. 1 month ago, Rock Shinobi 3rd Tsuchikage 2-day scale Onoki led 4 Tails Jinchuriki, 5 Tails Jinchuriki, and Elite Jonin Lois, Bunya, Akatsuki, and Hunting, as well as more than 100 Jonin, 1,000 Chunin, and Genin, across the grass country, sneak attack on the Konoha border. Konoha Shinobi Village's army of 1,000 Konoha Shinobi led by Sarutobi Hio came to resist. As a result, almost the entire army was annihilated, while Rock Shinobi suffered almost no damage. Thousands of Rock Shinobi's elite ninjas are directly opposite us and may attack us at any time. After Minato finished his introduction, Orochimaru looked at Shikaku and said, "Shikaku, how do you think this battle should be fought?" Shikaku looked at the map, touched his beard, and instead of answering Orochimaru's question, asked, "Why didn't Rock Shinobi attack while we were still on a weak footing?" Everyone couldn't help but frown. Yes, reinforcements have just arrived. They haven't gotten along with each other yet, so they are not strong in fighting. It stands to reason that launching an attack at this time would most likely defeat Konoha. But Rock Shinobi didn't do that. Chapter 31. Killed dozens of Rock Shinobi in a flash. The high-level officials of Konoha present all understood. Rock Shinobi did not take the opportunity to attack at this time, so there must be a bigger conspiracy. But what exactly could this conspiracy be? Orochimaru's raised golden eyes swept across everyone's faces. Suddenly it fell on Ye Huo's face. "Gen Ye Huo, what do you think?" At this time, Ye Huoben was listening leisurely. He didn't expect Orochimaru to ask him. "What the hell does he know?" Ye Huo said quickly, "Master Orochimaru, everyone here has experienced many battles and has more say than me." A smile appeared on Orochimaru's lips. "Everyone can speak freely, but now, I want to hear your opinion." Ye Huo couldn't hide, so he could only recall some details about the battle with Rock Shinobi. But after thinking about it, he only remembered the battle of Canaby Bridge where Namikaze Minato became famous. In that battle, Minato killed 50 Rock Shinobi Jonin. That's Jonin. 50 Jonin are already half of the high-end combat power of the entire Rock Shinobi. Thinking of this, Ye Huo suddenly felt something in his heart. Rock Shinobi did not launch a raid. Could it be related to Canaby Bridge? Ye Huo immediately stood up, walked to the map, pointed to a small dot marked on the map, Canaby Bridge Road. "Sir Orochimaru, in addition to Canaby Bridge, is there any other material transportation channel in Rock Shinobi?" Orochimaru's golden pupils looked at Canaby Bridge, and Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Fugaku, Hyuga Hiyashi and others all looked at the black dot. Orochimaru's hoarse and magnetic voice sounded again. "Ye Huo-kun, you mean, Rock Shinobi is short of supplies, so you gave up this opportunity?" Ye Huo said, I don't know if Rock Shinobi is short of supplies, but I know that if I don't eat for a day, I will have no strength. Orochimaru looked at Shikaku. How many days can our Hyorio pills last? A flash of light flashed in Shikaku's eyes. 7 days are enough to fight a battle. Orochimaru's golden eyes suddenly narrowed, an invisible murderous aura emitted, and he said calmly, Rock Shinobi traveled a long distance to invade the land of fire. The only way to supply supplies is the Canaby Bridge. As long as we destroy the Canaby Bridge, we will win this battle. Shikaku frowned when he heard this. If there is no bridge, we must divide our troops. It is very likely that Rock Shinobi will concentrate his strength and defeat each one. Orochimaru fell silent, and the rest of Konoha's top brass also stopped talking. After a moment Orochimaru looked at Ye Huo again. Ye Huo twitched the corner of his mouth. Why was he looking at himself again? Ye Huo hid aside, looking at his nose with his eyes, his mouth with his nose, and his mouth with his heart, as if he didn't notice Orochimaru's gaze. But Orochimaru wasn't ready to just let him go. The hoarse and magnetic voice sounded again. Mr. Ye Huo, since you mentioned the Canaby Bridge, you must have a solution, right? Ye Huo's mouth twitched. What is this word? Did you mention Canaby Bridge? Is there a solution? What is the logic? But he did know a way. But he didn't want to say it directly, because that would make him look too evil. He is now targeted by Danzo. I don't want to be targeted by others anymore. So he made a circle and said, Master Orochimaru thinks too highly of me. I don't have much choice. It's impossible for me to fly from one place to another quickly. As soon as these words came out, everyone turned their attention to Namikaze Minato in an instant. Namikaze Minato's speed is unmatched by anyone in Konoha. Namikaze Minato stood up immediately and said to Orochimaru, Lord Orochimaru, please let me go to Canaby Bridge. Orochimaru nodded, then it will be Minato's hard work this time. In this way, I will send another large team. Suddenly, Orochimaru stopped talking, looked at Ye Huo again, and said with a slight smile, Mr. Ye Huo, the departure of the brigade is too eye-catching. Gen Ye Huo is as strong as a brigade. I will trouble Mr. Ye Huo this time. Follow your master, Minato, to Canaby Bridge. For Konoha, Ye Huo-kun, thank you for your hard work. Ye Huo twitched the corners of his mouth and came up with his own ideas, finally freeing himself up. Ye Huo looked solemn at the moment, and could only show his loyalty to Konoha. For Konoha, Uchiha will go through fire and water, no matter what. Shikaku, Hiyashi, Akamichi Dingza, Yamanaka, and others all looked sideways at Ye Huo, with admiration in their eyes. Only Uchiha Fugaku's eyes showed deep concern. Before leaving, Ye Huo summoned Bunta again, let by mother and son enter Bunta's mouth, and finally sent the two of them to Mount Myoboku indirectly. Ye Huo then took Mochi Zabuza, Hizashi and Minato as well as Kakashi, Obito, and Nohara Rin and quickly headed to Canaby Bridge. Momochi Zabuza and Kakashi met for the first time in this situation because of Ye Huo. Kakashi is Konoha's genius. Mochi Zabuza is the ninjutsu genius of the Kiri ninja. The two were of the same age and had the same genius. When they met, they immediately sparked a collision. If it weren't for the imminent war, these two guys would have fought first. The 7 people galloped all the way and took the path, but in the evening 3 days later, their whereabouts were sensed by Rock Shinobi's sensing ninja. Dozens of Rock Shinobi surrounded the 7 people. In addition, other Rock Shinobi have reported back. Minato looked at Ye Huo, who said solemnly, Teacher Minato, leave this to me. Then, be careful. Minato didn't say much. Their whereabouts have been exposed. If they cannot blow up the Canaby Bridge quickly and wait until the Rock Shinobi Masters or even Jinchuriki arrive, then their plan will completely fail. Minato left quickly with Kakashi, Obito, and Nohara Rin. Rock Shinobi wanted to catch up, but Ye Huo rushed over in an instant and stopped the pursuing Rock Shinobi. In the Rock Shinobi opposite, a yellow-haired boy with a ponytail sneered, Damn Konoha brat, show me what art is. The yellow-haired boy put his hands in his pockets, chewing clay with the 2 mouths on his palms. Ye Huo was stunned. This is Deidara. I really didn't expect to meet this guy here. Ye Huo raised the corner of his mouth and quickly formed seals with his hands. Hizashi and Zabuza were startled and immediately jumped behind Ye Huo. Deidara waved his hands, and 2 palm-sized clay birds flew towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo's chest bulged high, and he spat out 10 units of intermediate immortal magic chalk in one breath. Sage Art Fire Style Extra Large Great Fireball Technique. In an instant, 100 huge great fireballs with a diameter of 10 meters engulfed the 2 explosives in an instant. Boom boom. There were 2 loud noises, and the explosives exploded. 2 great fireballs exploded into red flowers. But the remaining 98 super large great fireballs swallowed up dozens of Rock Shinobi's ninjas at once. Chapter 32. Receiving Deidara. If you don't accept it, you'll be beaten until you accept it. Earth-style Earth Current Wall. Dozens of Rock Shinobi ninjas perform ninjutsu at the same time. A city wall 30 meters high, 10 meters thick, and 50 meters long was pulled up from the ground, blocking Ye Huo's Sage Art Fire Style's many oversized great fireballs. Ye Huo frowned slightly. His ninjutsu was too monotonous. It seems that I will have to develop new ninjutsu in the future. Ye Huo bit his finger. Hai Shu Yu Shen Wei. Ye Huo completed the seal almost instantly. Boss Mrs. Wen, come out. Bang! A cloud of smoke exploded, and Buntai watched as the decapitating sword approaching 200 meters appeared on the battlefield. This scene shocked Rock Shinobi. What is this? This is summoning Mon? Such a big frog. Such a big sword? Really? Rock Shinobi is shocking. Wentai's eyes rolled up and he looked at Ye Huo. Kid, are there any big guys you want me to chop off this time? Ye Huo pointed to the Tuliu city wall in front of him. Boss, next time, I will let you chop off the big guy. This time, cut down the Tuliu city wall first. Can you cut it off? Bunta took a puff of cigarette and blew out a cloud of smoke. Haki said, give me the... After the words fell, Wentai swung the knife over. Click. The Earth-style wall formed by 50 mist ninjas was cut off in an instant. The top half flew straight up. Wentai wielded his sword and struck out more than a dozen times in an instant. The wind is hunting and the blades are flying. Half of the Earth Flow city wall in the air instantly turned into rubble and scattered down. Rock Shinobi was stunned. Such a terrifying summoning beast. They began to see for the first time in their lives. Ye Huo laughed loudly. Boss Wentai, you are so powerful. Boss poured oil on their heads. Good. Buntai thrust the 200-meter-long decapitating sword into the ground. The huge body jumped up and stood on the hilt, more than 100 meters in the sky. Wentai and Ye Huo quickly formed seals at the same time. Sage Art Toad Oil Rainstorm. Wentai opened his mouth and spat out, and a large amount of yellow toad oil poured down from the midair, falling like raindrops. Sage Art Fire Style Great Fireball. Ye Huo opened his mouth and spit out, the flame swept away, and the toad oil burned instantly. A huge curtain of fire fell from the sky. Deidara's face turned green. His hands plunged into his pockets, chewing the clay quickly. What kind of freak did he encounter? Summoning beast is so pervert. Ninjutsu is so terrifying. A large oil fire was put out. Chunin and Genin were burned to death instantly. Only Deidara and a few Jonin were left, working together to form a mushroom-shaped defense to block the oil fire falling from the sky. Several Rock Shinobi Jonin exclaimed, no, he is the sacred fire ninja of Konoha. Master Deidara, please leave quickly, we will cut off the rear. Without saying a word, Deidara threw a white clay fukuru out of his palm and made a seal with both hands. Drink. Clay fukuru suddenly grew in size, with a wingspan of 5 meters. Deidara jumped on Fukuru's back. Fukuru began to fly rapidly into the distance. Deidara yelled, damn Konoha Shinobi, I will come back. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly, 8 inner gates are open. Ye Huo surrendered slightly and kicked Wentai's head fiercely. Wentai's head shrank slightly, and Ye Huo's figure disappeared instantly. Wentai rubbed his head and couldn't help but muttered, when did this brag get so strong? Ye Huo's figure instantly appeared in front of Deidara, sneering, since you are going to come back, why not leave? Deidara's pupils shrank, and just as he turned his head, Ye Huo whipped him away with a leg whip. Boom! Deidara flew out like a cannonball, creating a deep hole in the ground. Deidara slowly crawled out of the pit, blood streaming from the corners of his mouth. He looked at Ye Huo on the clay fukuro, a fierce light flashed in his eyes, and he formed a seal with his right hand. Drink. Clay fukuru explodes instantly. However, almost at the same time, Ye Huo arrived in front of him again. Snapped. Ye Huo punched Deidara hard in the stomach. Deidara was beaten until he spit out a mouthful of acidic water. The whole person flew out and broke 10 big trees, and then he listened. Ye Huo stretched his muscles and walked up to Deidara with a smile on his lips. Deidara, do you accept it? Deidara moved his hands, and Ye Huo stepped on him in an instant, breaking Deidara's wrist. Deidara screamed in pain and roared, you brat, I won't let you go. Ye Huo sat on Deidara's chest, raised his fist, and hit Deidara in the face. Bang bang bang. Ah, are you convinced, smelly brat? Bang bang bang. Ah. After Ye Huo beat him hundreds of times, Deidara's head doubled in size and all his teeth were beaten, and then he mumbled the word, submit. Ye Huo was then satisfied, clapped his hands, grabbed Deidara's right foot, and dragged Deidara away. Those Rock Shinobi Jonin were about to run away when they saw them, but they were all killed by Bunta's sword. At this point, only Deidara is left in Rock Shinobi's 50-person team. Ye Huo is more interested in Deidara. This guy could betray Rock Shinobi and become part of the Akatsuki organization. You can naturally become your own person. Hizashi's mouth twitched when he saw Ye Huo being so violent. Stepped forward and said, Master Ye Huo, you don't want to accept this Rock Shinobi again, do you? Can't you? Ye Huo looked around, but Zabuza was nowhere to be seen. He frowned slightly, Brother Hizashi, where is Zabuza? Hizashi was stunned, then rolled his eyes, Sir Ye Huo, Zabuza ran away, heading northwest, and is now 3,000 meters away from us. Oh, I knew he would run away. Ye Huo slapped Deidara and said viciously, get a bird to chase a person, don't play any tricks, or I'll beat you to death. The corner of Deidara's mouth twitched. He was unlucky when he encountered this little devil. Deidara made a clay flying eagle, and Ye Huo grabbed Deidara and Hizashi to sit on it. Ye Huo waved to Buntai, "Boss, I'm going to catch the traitor first. You go back to Mount Myoboku." When Tai disappeared with a bang, Ye Huo and the other two flew quickly towards the northwest. Deidara had a bad taste in her heart, wondering what tragic end the traitor would encounter. It's better to be more disabled than yourself. The clay eagle flies extremely fast, much faster than Zabuza. Not long after, Ye Huo saw Zabuza running away quickly in the forest. Zabuza seemed to have noticed something and looked up into the sky. Immediately, several great fireballs crashed down on him. Zabuza's expression changed drastically, and he quickly used the water wall formation to resist. But the next moment, Samahada's huge blade slammed down hard. Zabuza blocked with his ninja sword. The ninja sword was thrown away, and most of the chakra that had been condensed in the body for several days was immediately devoured by Samahada. Ye Huo waved Samahada to disperse the fog, looked at Zabuza and sneered, "Run, keep running." Chapter 33 The extremely shameless Deidara. Zabuza looked up to the sky and sighed, his eyes filled with humiliation and resentment, which finally turned into determination. He put on a posture and said sternly, "If I don't kill him, I would rather die than surrender." Ye Huo rubbed his fist, shook his neck, and then punched Zabuza in the stomach. Zabuza was directly blasted 50 meters away. Ye Huo jumped up, rode on Zabuza's chest, raised his small fist, and punched Zabuza hard in the face. "Better die than surrender. I tell you to rather die than surrender." Bang bang bang. Ouch ouch. Stop hitting him in the face. Zabuza was filled with shame and anger. The young man's ambition was not convincing at all in front of his fist. Bang bang bang. Ye Huo punched again. "Are you still running away?" "Kid, I won't run away, never again." Bang bang bang. Ye Huo was furious again. "What did you call me?" Master, I won't run away. I won't run away anymore. Stop fighting. If you fight again, you will be beaten to death." Only then did Ye Huo stop. Zabuza's teeth were all beaten out. Ye Huo dragged Zabuza's legs and threw him onto the back of the clay flying eagle. Seeing Zabuza's poor appearance, Deidara couldn't help but laugh and said, "You would rather die than surrender, and then change your name to Master after being beaten. Tisk, 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 the mist ninjas are really boneless." Zabuza glanced at Deidara and snorted, "If you have the ability, never scream." Deidara snorted softly, "Do you think I, Rock Shinobi, are as spineless as you Kiri Shinobi?" At this time, Ye Huo said, "Deidara, from now on you will be my subordinates just like Zabuza. Remember, when you see me, you must call me Master." "Hey, that's good, Master." Deidara opened his mouth, and Zabuza was dumbfounded. Didn't you say you have backbone?" Deidara said disdainfully, "A ninja is someone who can bend and endure, do you understand?" Zabuza felt a moment of contempt. "Deidara, fly to Canaby Bridge." Deidara had no choice but to fly to the Canaby Bridge with Ye Huo. Looking from a distance, Ye Huo saw a bridge. Almost at the same time, there was a loud bang. The entire bridge was blown apart. The Rock Shinobi ninjas on the other side of the bridge can no longer cross. Whoosh whoosh. Several kunai shot over. Deidara scurried away. Hizashi said, "There are a large number of Rock Shinobi below. Let's go, get out of here." Ye Huo ordered decisively, and then said to Deidara, "Boy, you can fly wherever I tell you to go. If you dare to deviate even slightly, I will blow you up first. Brain." Deidara cursed Ye Huo hundreds of times in his heart, but his face was full of smiles and he didn't even dare to say it. Deidara followed Ye Huo's order and flew into the distance, and many Rock Shinobi below chased after him. Along the way, Ye Huo thought to himself, "I killed a wave of Rock Shinobi first, and now I have attracted a lot of Rock Shinobi. I wonder if the plot will be biased." The thought flashed through him, and he didn't care too much about the plot. As long as you are strong enough, all can be ignored. On the flying eagle, I close my eyes at night and rest. Zabuza and Deidara had countless thoughts of sneak attacks on Ye Huo. But I didn't suppress it anymore. This kid from Konoha is extremely terrifying. And there was a white eye staring at them both. If they dare to take action, they will only end up being beaten half to death again. To avoid Rock Shinobi's ambush on the road, Ye Huo spared a big circle and returned to Konoha's frontline battlefield a few days later. As soon as we arrived at the front line, we saw excitement shining on the faces of all the Konoha shinobi. Almost all Konoha shinobi people are talking about the frontal battlefield. Captain Minato's flying thunder god technique is so powerful that he killed 50 Rock Shinobi Jonin in an instant. Really or not, 50 Jonin, even Lord Orochimaru can't kill 50 Jonin in an instant, right? Haha, I estimate that Captain Minato's strength has surpassed Orochimaru-sama. Haha, Rock Shinobi lost 50 Jonin in one go. That old guy Onoki must be in pain. Haha, that's it. I heard that Rock Shinobi also deployed a large number of ninjas on the Canaby Bridge, but they were all killed by Lord Ye Huo. The Canaby Bridge was blown up. Rock Shinobi has no supplies and has already initiated a surrender. I hope the higher-ups in Konoha will not allow them to surrender, and will take the opportunity to eliminate them in one fell swoop. That is. Ye Huo listened to the discussion of Konoha Shinobi and felt a little regretful that he did not see the scene where Flying Thunder God instantly killed 50 Jonin. Flying Thunder God, you will learn it sooner or later. Lord Ye Huo. At this time, a ninja stepped forward and called out. Ye Huo stopped and looked at the Konoha Shinobi. The Konoha Shinobi looked at Ye Huo with admiration and said respectfully, Master Ye Huo, Master Orochimaru said that if you come back, let you go see him immediately. Lead the way. Ye Huo said calmly. Master Ye Huo, please come with me. Konoha Shinobi said, and took another look at the two pig heads behind Ye Huo. When Ye Huo entered the big tent, some of Konoha's top officials were missing, and the rest were all in disgrace. Orochimaru's face was full of exhaustion. He had been commanding 3 battles in succession for nearly a year, and his mental, physical, and chakra were severely exhausted. It is extremely difficult for him to be able to support it until now. Minato's face is also ugly. Uzumaki Kushina's face is also very pale. Shikaku has a bandage on his forehead. Akamichi Dingza is not here. Maybe he was seriously injured, and the 2 roots around Danzo are also missing. Ye Huo's heart sank slightly. Although Konoha won this battle, it was definitely not as easy as ordinary ninjas rumored. At this time, Orochimaru looked at Ye Huo and said with a smile, Ye Huo-kun is back. If Ye Huo-kun hadn't entangled Rock Shinobi this time and made Minato come back in time, the outcome of this battle would have been unpredictable. Ye Huo didn't even dare. Orochimaru waved his hand and motioned for Ye Huo to sit aside. Orochimaru discussed with Fugaku, Minato and others how to deal with Rock Shinobi's surrender. Ye Huo seized the opportunity and asked Shisui who was standing aside, Brother Shisui, is this time miserable? Shisui glanced at Deidara and said slowly, well, if it weren't for Orochimaru-sama's summoning beast, I would have been almost killed by Ono Koshi. There are also 4 tails Jinchuriki and 5 tails Jinchuriki. The 2 of them joined forces, and Kushina couldn't handle it at all. Akamichi Dingza, Nara Shikaku, and Yamanaka Haichi went to support, but Dingza was beaten half to death. Fortunately, Danzo's root Azai took action and saved Akamichi Dingza, but the 2 roots died in the battle. And on our flank, 50 Rock Shinobi Jonin made a surprise attack, and were about to break through the defense and insert themselves fiercely. If so, the consequences would be disastrous. Fortunately, Minato arrived in time and killed 50 Rock Shinobi Jonin in one fell swoop. Summoning produced a giant toad, used a 200-meter-long machete, and teamed up with Kushina to repel 2 Jinchuriki, and then barely won. Chapter 34 Rasengan, a hundredfold reward. Ye Huo listened to Shisui's introduction. This is really clear. This battle is very difficult. The next time is the negotiation between Konoha and Rock Shinobi's top management. Most of the compensation issues. In addition, Rock Shinobi learned that Deidara was caught by Ye Huo. Want to redeem it, so Ye Huo made up a lie. Deidara was killed by him. And they were burned to the point where no bones were left. Are you kidding me? Deidara will have elite Jonin in the future, which is close to cage-level strength. How could it be put back? Ye Huo then directly threw Zabuza into Mount Myoboku, so that the Kiri ninja would not worry about Zabuza. After high-level negotiations in Konoha, Ye Huo no longer needs to stay here. Ye Huo, Minato, Uchiha, Hyuga, etc. also returned to Konoha village to rest. At this time, news of the northern battlefield had spread throughout Konoha. All of Konoha regarded Minato as a hero. Minato's story of instantly killing 50 Rock Shinobi Jonin is spread among every household. But the efforts of Orochimaru, Ye Huo, Uchiha, and others in this battle have been deliberately downplayed. People from the Uchiha, Hyuga and other big families seemed a little unhappy. Uchiha tribe land. The Uchiha clan looked very angry. Why? Chief Ye Huo, and I, the Uchiha clan, shed blood and died on the battlefield. Why do they only praise Minato and no one praises us Uchiha? Conspiracy. There must be a conspiracy. The mood within the Uchiha clan became restless. Ye Huo, who had closed his eyes to rest, suddenly opened his eyes. His scarlet eyes swept across Uchiha present, and suddenly said sternly, We Uchiha, do we need other people's praise? 3 battles took a year. Ye Huo today is no longer the 7-year-old child he was then. He is 8 years old this year. In just 1 year, his height increased to 1.4 meters. The chakra within his body is far more powerful than the average Jonin. His whole body was filled with a murderous aura. His outstanding performance in 3 battles and his powerful strength gave him great intimidation in Uchiha. However, the most impressive thing about him is his terrifying talent. No one doubts that in a few years, Ye Huo will have cage-level strength. Become the person at the top of the pyramid in Konoha and the entire ninja world. He glanced over and all the Uchiha present lowered their heads, no one dared to look at them. The entire tribe suddenly became quiet. Fugaku on the side sighed inwardly. I have been the clan leader for so many years. The deterrent effect is actually not as good as his own son. The new generation is really better than the old generation. It seems that I can retire early. A faint smile appeared on Fugaku's lips. Already starting to imagine life after retirement. Ye Huo was silent for a moment and then said, A year ago, I proposed that Uchiha's children be used as a method of death to activate Sharingan, but it was shelved because of the Third Ninja War. Now I want to restart this plan. The great elder Uchiha Chuju looked a little ugly. Young patriarch, this matter needs to be carefully discussed by the elders. It's nothing to discuss. I am the young clan leader, and I will be the clan leader of Uchiha from now on. My words are orders. If any of you disobey, who dares not to let your children participate, huh? Ye Huo snorted coldly, and the intermediate magic chakra in his body suddenly exploded. Coupled with the power of opening the door, a gust of wind suddenly set off. The powerful force made everyone in the Uchiha clan look fearful. After a moment, Ye Huo put away the chakra, turned around and said to Shisui, "Brother Shisui, you are fully responsible for this matter. If anyone dares to obstruct it in any way, tell me immediately, and I will come to him personally to have a good talk." Yes. Shisui perked up and replied respectfully. With such a young patriarch, Shisui sees hope for Uchiha's future. Ye Huo strode away, and the great elder Uchiha Chuju's face turned ugly for a while. Want to resist? But Uchiha's three major powers, Shisui, Ye Huo, and Fugaku, all stand on the same line. He was powerless to resist. So, at Ye Huo's request and Shisui's active actions, Uchiha boys and girls between the ages of 5 and 15, a total of 800 Uchiha, all began to undergo death training. During the training process, Uchiha was short of manpower, so Ye Huo borrowed many people from the Hyuga clan from Hizashi. Minato knew about this and sent many civilian ninjas to help. Suddenly, Uchiha became the focus of Konoha village. The villagers began to slowly understand that Uchiha Sharingan's rise required such self-destructive training. It is not the kind of evil one that can only be unlocked by killing the people you cherish as in the rumors. During this time, the relationship between Uchiha and the various clans in Konoha has been greatly eased. Many wealthy clan members even sent their children over to let them see how Uchiha trained to commit suicide, so that their children could be taught a lesson and follow suit. Uchiha's training is in full swing. Ye Huo began to develop his own Rasengan. Early morning. It was just getting light. Ye Huo came to the water pool and filled the balloons with water. Then hold it in the palm of your hand and let the chakra urge the water to rotate in a clockwise direction. Follow this method to train the concentrated chakra. However, although Ye Huo's chakra is sufficient, the Chunin level chakra is still too weak. After training for a day, Ye Huo didn't even pop a balloon. Ye Huo can only activate the sage body and use the intermediate sage chakra training. Finally, half a day later, snapped, the balloon finally burst, splashing water on Ye Huo's face. At the same time, the system sound sounded. Ding, congratulations to the host for initially completing the positive spin chakra. 100 times reward trigger. 1. Complete 100 positive spin chakra at one time. 2. The power of the positive spin chakra increases 100 times. Ye Huo thought for a moment and chose 2. Ye Huo immediately took out a rubber balloon and held it in his hand. The chakra continued to rotate, and the shape of the rubber balloon continued to change. Finally, it exploded upon impact, and the blue chakra was visible to the naked eye. Ye Huo felt it slightly. The power of the spur chakra has been increased 100 times, but the chakra consumption has been increased 15 times. This one made him very satisfied. It was already evening and Ye Huo went home for dinner. Practice continued early the next morning. 10 minutes at noon. Ye Huo opens the reverse rotation chakra. The balloon burst again. Ding! Congratulations to host for initially condensing the counter-rotating chakra cyclone. Close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. Condensate 100 chuck cyclones at once. 2. The power of a concentrated chakra cyclone increases 100 times. Ye Huo chose 2 without thinking. Now the positive spin chakra and your spin chakra are both completed. Next it's time to fuse it all together. Chapter 35. Hundredfold Reward, Mangekyo. The morphological changes of the left-handed and right-handed chakra. Ye Huo is now perfect. Now Ye Huo wants to complete these two form changes at the same time. Rasengan is a ninjutsu, made entirely of chakra. It is the ultimate in chakra form changes. Turn left and right at the same time. It is equivalent to a person doing two things distractedly. Only extremely talented ninjas can do it. Of course, Naruto's wall-mounted ones are not included. Ye Huo started to let chakra spin left and then controlled the right spin. In an instant, chakra exploded. Ye Huo suddenly felt an insurmountable gap. It made him feel that it was impossible for one person to complete this ninjutsu. Do I have to learn Shadow Clone first, and then divide it into Shadow Clone and make balls? No, it would be a waste of time to fight like that. You must use one hand to condense Rasengan at any time. So, Ye Huo kept practicing in the next few days, but with little success. Ye Huo was a little angry. He then ran to Minato and asked Minato to cast Rasengan again. Minato smiled slightly and spread his right hand. Ye Huo urged the Sharingan to copy every tiny movement of Minato. Minato controls chakra to an outrageous level. Rasengan was cast with great ease. Ye Huo pouted. I couldn't get the Rasengan out even though I worked so hard. It is as easy for people to use as drinking water. Ye Huo copied the entire process. However, in the subsequent practice, there was still little effect. Ye Huo became more determined to refuse to admit defeat. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Still has no effect. This morning, Ye Huo came to the pool as usual. If the Rasengan still can't be united today, he would learn Shadow Clone first, and then make balls. Ye Huo concentrated all his energy. Both eyes Sharingan also moved to ultimate. Observe the rotation of the chakra. Time passed bit by bit, the condensation of the positive spin chakra was completed, and Ye Huo began to join the reverse Zan chakra. Boom! The two chakras suddenly collided, there was a violent explosion. Ye Huo was immediately knocked out, Ye Huo suddenly burst into flames. The blood rushed to his mind, he jumped up again. All mental energy is completely concentrated again. The chakra in the body rushes into Sharingan like crazy. At that moment, the one Magatama in Ye Huo's left eye suddenly turned into 2 Magatama. At the same time, the system made a sound again. Ding! Congratulations to host for getting the second Magatama Sharingan. Close black lens bracket. 100 times reward triggered. Close black lens bracket 1. 102 Magatama Sharingan. 2. A Mangekyo Sharingan. Ye Huo was stunned, snapped. The chakra in his palm exploded again, knocked Ye Huo off his feet. But Ye Huo didn't care. The voice of the system just now echoed in my mind. Congratulations to host for getting the second Magatama Sharingan. My Sharingan, promotion? Ye Huo couldn't believe it. He hurriedly got a mirror. He looked at his left eye and saw that it was indeed a second Magatama. Aha! Ye Huo suddenly jumped up excitedly, quickly checked the rewards. The first one is skipped directly by Ye Huo. Ye Huo focuses on the second type, Sharingan. When the Sharingan is activated, pupils will appear in both eyes. Itachi's left eye is the most powerful genjutsu, Tsukuyomi. The right eye is Amaterasu, the strongest physical attack. Obito's left eye can collect other objects into its own space. The right eye can put itself into its own space. It sounds frustrating. But it's actually pretty awesome. This world, there will never be a truly weak eye technique. Only weak people. I don't know what power my left eye possesses. Ye Huo hurriedly clicked on the introduction of Wanwadong Sharingan. Ye Huo's multicolored pupils, Sharingan, are in the shape of snowflakes. Ability. Extremely precise control of one's own chakra. Ye Huo read the introduction. I immediately knew that I had found a treasure this time. Precise control of chakra. That own Rasengan, think of this. Ye Huo can inject chakra into the left eye. The left eye turned rapidly, and finally the pupil turned into the shape of snowflakes. Ye Huo's deep right hand, chakra forward and reverse rotation are activated at the same time. Ye Huo suddenly felt an unprecedented experience. Chakra became extremely docile, he could do whatever he wanted with it. It can't help but turn into a circle, it can also turn into an oval, and it can turn into various shapes. Ding! Congratulations to host for learning Rasengan. Close black lens bracket. Ye Huo felt ecstatic in his heart. This form changes into the ultimate ninjutsu Rasengan. I have been working on it for a month and haven't learned it yet. The ability of the Mangekado in the left eye works slightly. He actually learned it. Wanwadong is really amazing. 100 times reward triggered. Close black lens bracket 1. Too many Rasengan. Cast 100 ordinary Rasengan at the same time. 2. Super powerful Rasengan. The power of ordinary Rasengan is increased 100 times and can be projected. The sound of the system keeps ringing. Ye Huo suppressed the joy in his heart. Thinking about what to choose. In the end, choose 100 Rasengan. Or is the power of Rasengan increased 100 times? Ye Huo analyzed the structure of his ninjutsu. The red secret technique is practiced by hundreds of machines, which is a large-scale killing, and the single target attack is insufficient. There are also many great fireball techniques that also attack in a wide area. He lacks single target ninjutsu. Coming here first, Ye Huo said immediately, I choose Chao Wei Rasengan. As soon as he finished speaking, Ye Huo had a lot more information in his mind. Ye Huo stretched out his right hand, but this time he did not use the pupil technique on his left eye. Nor is mid-level sage body cast. Still, a Rasengan quickly formed in his right hand. The color of Rasengan is not the aqua blue of chakra, it appears blue-black. That's chakra compressed to ultimate, but this only consumed 30 units of Ye Huo's Chunin chakra. Ye Huo can also continue to increase chakra, but after thinking about it, I decided to forget it and try the power of the super powerful Rasengan first. Ye Huo looked at the pool, then jumped up high in his hand, flew to the sky above the Uchiha pool, and then slapped the pool hard. Rasengan exploded. Boom! There was a loud bang. Ye Huo was instantly shocked high into the sky. All the water in the pool flew out instantly. The pool was empty, and there was a huge pit. The next second, a sudden heavy rain poured down on the entire Uchiha tribe. Many tribesmen were soaked. What was that explosion just now? Why did it suddenly start raining heavily? Ye Huo fell to the ground hard at this time. There was pain all over my body. The power of this Rasengan is too great. No wonder it says on the back that it can be thrown away. Just throw it out yourself next time. Whoosh, a dozen Uchiha security force masters rushed over, hurried to Ye Huo's side, and asked, "Young patriarch, are you okay?" Ye Huo stood up slowly and wiped the water on his face. "What can happen to me? It's okay. But, that loud noise just now. Oh, I accidentally got it while practicing ninjutsu." Uchiha from the security department looked at the pool. The water in the pool was gone, and there was a large pit about 30 meters in diameter at the bottom of the pool. The corner of the guard's mouth twitched. What ninjutsu did the young patriarch come up with again? The power is so terrifying. Chapter 36 Perfect Advanced Sage Body. The third Hokage used telescope skills and saw the scene just now. Third generation took a drag of its pipe pot and rubbed its forehead. What a troublesome little guy. Is this still Rasengan? Literally a small-tailed beast bomb. Makoto wiped some water from his face. He looked at the collapsed house behind him. Veins popped up on Makoto's forehead, and he suddenly covered his face and laughed. Ye Huo suddenly had a bad feeling and laughed twice. "Mom, are you okay?" State. Bang bang. Makoto hit Ye Huo hard on the head with a spatula. His face instantly turned ferocious. "I'll let you practice ninjutsu at home, let you destroy my house, and I'll beat you to death." Ye Huo covered his head, turned around and ran away. "I was beaten. I just won't practice at home from now on. You little brat, stop here. I'm going to beat you to death today, so stop here. Mom, please run slowly, you are still pregnant with your brother." Wherever Ye Huo stopped, he disappeared in a flash. Makoto was so angry that he cursed loudly, and there was no trace of the good wife and mother she used to be. Dot. Ye Huo didn't dare to go home until the repairs were done at home. Lived directly at teacher Minato's house. After Kushina heard what happened to Ye Huo, she poked Ye Huo's forehead with her finger and cursed with a smile. "If I had a son like you, I would be mad at you to death." Ye Huo chuckled. "Master, your future son will be much more naughty than me." Saying that, Ye Huo looked at Minato and smiled. "Master, you have to work harder and give birth to a fat boy with your master, and then I will be his teacher." Kushina's face turned red and she punched Ye Huo on the head with her fist. "You brat, you dare not even make fun of me, master and master." After a year of getting along, Ye Huo and the Minato family have a very harmonious relationship. It's almost like a family. Ye Huo also felt deep worry in his heart. Obito is dead. To be precise, he was taken away by the real Uchiha Madara. Not long ago, the Kingdom of Water once again attacked Konoha. He wants to bring three tails to Konoha through Nohara Rin's body, thereby causing Konoha to fall. Nohara Rin was killed by Kakashi. Obito was greatly stimulated and his eyes turned into Mangekyo Sharingan. Ye Huo suddenly asked, "Teacher Minato, how is Kakashi now?" After hearing Ye Huo's words, the smile on Kushina's face disappeared. Minato sighed. Obito and Lin left one after another. Kakashi was hit too hard. His current situation is very bad. Ye Huo, Kakashi's Sharingan was given to him by Obito. Can you help Kakashi speak and let him keep this Sharingan? This Sharingan, for Kakashi, is his only spiritual sustenance. Ye Huo heard this and said, "Teacher Minato, don't worry, as long as I am here, no one in Uchiha will dare to ask Kakashi for Sharingan." Minato smiled and touched Ye Huo's head. "Kakashi is lucky to have you as his partner." Ye Huo opened Minato's hand and said, "Teacher, don't always treat me like a child. Also, although I can prohibit Uchiha from taking back the Sharingan, I hope that the teacher can use the sealing technique to temporarily seal Kakashi's Sharingan." Minato was stunned, and Ye Huo explained, "Kakashi's Sharingan is different from ordinary Sharingan, it is Mangekyo Sharingan. Mangekyo is Uchiha's powerful weapon. Even using Uchiha's body to push him will bring a huge burden. Kakashi's strength is currently improving rapidly, and he has great hope of becoming a cage-level powerhouse. However, if he uses Sharingan frequently, it will consume his potential, and it is not worth it in the long run." Minato's face became serious when he heard this. "I understand. During this period, I will study the sealing technique with Kushina and choose a suitable one to temporarily seal Kakashi's Sharingan." Ye Huo smiled after speaking. "Teacher Minato, don't forget to give me a disciple as soon as possible." Minato rubbed the back of his head and smiled when he heard this. "Actually, your master's wife is pregnant." Ye Huo's eyes widened immediately when he heard this. "Teacher, you move fast enough." Boom. Kushina punched Ye Huo on the head again. "You little brat, don't mention this again." Because of Ye Huo, the relationship between Uchiha and Minato is very good. Mizukane and Kushina even joked about it privately. If a boy and a girl are born from two families, they will also become in-laws. Time flies by. Ye Huo just celebrated his birthday. Officially passed from 8 years old to 9 years old. June 47, Konoha. The Kingdom of Thunder, which has been accumulating strength and has great ambitions, saw that its strength was greatly reduced after the war between the four countries, and launched a full-scale war. The Kingdom of Thunder attacks the Kingdom of Fire, the Kingdom of Earth, and the Kingdom of Wind at the same time. Cloud Shinobi fights on 3 fronts. The arrogant Third Raikage leads Cloud Shinobi to raid Rock Shinobi. The future fourth Raikage and his 8 brothers, Jinchuriki Killer Bee, led the Mist Ninja army and a large number of warriors from the Kingdom of Thunder to raid the border of the Kingdom of Fire. The Fire Nation asked Konoha to send ninjas to join the war. The peaceful Konoha village once again caused an uproar. In this battle against the Land of Thunder, Namikaze Minato serves as the commander-in-chief of the coalition forces, and Shikaku serves as the chief of marching staff. Uchiha Ye Huo is the captain of the first team, and Hyuga Hizashi is the vice-captain. Akamichichi is the captain of the second team, and Nara Shikinobu is the vice-captain. Hyuga Hiyashi is the captain of the third team, and Yuru Shima is the vice-captain. Inazuka Takashi is the captain of the reconnaissance squadron, and Hyuga Aogiri is the deputy captain. As well as transportation teams, intelligence teams, etc. In total, there is 1 cage-level strongman, 5 elite jonin, Uchiha Ye Huo, Hyuga Hiyashi, Shikaku, Akamichi Ike, and Inazuka Kuma, 70 jonin, and a total of 1,200 shunin genin. The lineup this time is not luxurious, because the top brass of Konoha knew. The Kingdom of Thunder dared to challenge the 3 kingdoms at the same time. That is asking for death. In this battle, Konoha's strategy is to delay. Drag Cloud Shinobi's master. Time continued with the intermittent fighting between the two sides. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. Ye Huo has gone through dozens of battles, big and small. The reputation of Konoha's sacred fire ninjas is getting louder and louder. At the same time, because of Wanwadong, the chakra condenses more and more solidly. It's noon this day. The sun is shining and Ye Huo is refining chakra. The long-lost system sound finally sounded again. Ding, congratulations host, got a unit Jonin chakra, close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 units of Jonin chakra. 2. 1 unit elite Jonin chakra. Without thinking twice, Ye Huo decisively chose 100 units of Jonin chakra. After another whole night of practice, Ye Huo finally extracted the advanced magic chakra from the air again. Ding, congratulations to host, you have obtained a unit of advanced magic chakra. Close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 units of advanced magic chakra. 2. Obtain the perfect advanced sage body. Ye Huo decisively chose the perfect premium sage body. After more than an hour of practice, Ye Huo once again gets a unit of the advanced magic chakra. At this moment, Ye Huo's strength soared to an extremely terrifying level. With all his strength displayed, he has surpassed elite Jonin and is close to cage level. At this time, the battle had dragged on for too long, and the Mist Ninja finally became anxious. In just half a month, on the northeastern front, I and the 8 Jinchuriki collided with Konoha 3 times. In an attempt to rely on I and the 8 Jinchuriki, 2 powerful cage-level warriors, to destroy Konoha's elite ninjas in one fell swoop, they would win the battle against Konoha. September 16, noon. Konoha and Mist Ninja met again in a forest in the Land of Iron. Mist Ninja I, 8 Jinchuriki Killer Bee, and several Mist Ninja Jonin. Konoha Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Ye Huo, and several of Konoha's Jonin. The two sides were at war with each other, and their spirits were extremely tense. Chapter 37 Complete Defeat of the Raikage Brothers. Ye Huo Premium Sage Body condenses the advanced magic chakra into a translucent yellow sage coat. The 8 inner gates gate is fully opened, and the physical fitness increases tenfold. Sharingan turned to ultimate and stared closely at the 2 extremely terrifying mist ninjas in front of him. The leader, a fog ninja, was tall and burly, with light yellow hair that looked like it had been raked by a rake, and was combed meticulously. There is a goatee on his chin, and the chakra in his body is like a volcano, no less than that of the tailed beast. Ye Huo recognized it at a glance. This was the future 4th Raikage of the Mist Ninja, I. At this time, the strength is probably extremely close to cage level. Next to him is a fog ninja wearing sunglasses with 8 tails Gyuki sealed within his body. The terrifying Chuck is even more powerful than I. I looked at Minato. Are you the yellow flash of Konoha? Minato held a special kunai and looked very solemn. Are you I, the son of Cloud Shinobi 3rd Raikage? I heard that you are very fast. Killer Bee tightened his grip on his ninja sword. Between me and my eldest brother, we will definitely win. Bagaya Road, Kunuya Road. Everyone quickly backed away except Ye Huo. Minato instantly threw out a series of kunai and took the lead. The Konoha shinobi quickly retreated at the same time. This kind of duel between strong men is simply not something they can interfere with. Everyone except Bai quickly leave the battlefield. I activated chakra, and his whole body was filled with thunder power, completely activating his body, turning into a blue lightning, and instantly arrived in front of Minato. Minato threw a kunai and appeared behind I instantly. An octopus tail smashed I open, and Minato missed with one blow. Sage Art Fire style lots of extra large great fireballs. In an instant, 100 great fireballs with a diameter of more than 20 meters annihilated Killer Bee in an instant. The ninjutsu performed by the senior Sage Chakra is even more powerful. Kunuya Road, Bagaya Road, EH. Killer Bee's weird tone came from the flames, followed by the red chakra tail that condensed into substance and flew away the surrounding fireballs. A small 8 tails appeared, covered in red and black chakra. Kunuya rode, 8 tails rode. The little 8 tails that Killer Bee turned into looked up to the sky. A large amount of chakra quickly condensed, and then swallowed it in one gulp. Minato's expression changed, and he instantly stood next to Ye Huo, holding a special dagger in both hands. At the same time, a sudden explosion sounded, and a tailed beast bomb with a diameter of 30 meters was shot over instantly. As soon as Minato and Ye Huo appeared in front of the barrier, they immediately swallowed up the tailed beast bomb and moved it to the sea. Boom! There was a loud noise from the sea in the distance, strong winds were blowing, and a heavy rain was coming. Minato's figure dodged behind Killer Bee, and the special kunai pierced Killer Bee's vital part. Bye, get out of the way. I rushed over instantly and punched Minato. Almost at the same time, Ye Huo also rushed over. Most of the advanced magic chakra was consumed in an instant. Sage Art super powerful Rasengan. In an instant, the diameter of the blue-black Rasengan in Ye Huo's hand reached a terrifying 10 meters. Just like a small-tailed beast bomb. Your opponent is me. Ye Huo roared and controlled the Sage Art superpower Rasengan to blast towards I. Get out of my way. I used his powerful lightning style to protect his body and punched the super powerful Rasengan. In an instant, dazzling white light and blue-black chakra exploded. The terrifying shock wave instantly tore up nearby vegetation. The loud noise suddenly came. I was sent flying directly, knocking down more than a dozen uncles, and the lightning-style protective body on his body was almost completely shattered. Ye Huo's body spun more than 10 times in midair and hit the ground hard. His throat was sweet and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. On the other side, Minato's special kunai has pierced Killer Bee's body. Killer Bee let out a scream, and his body suddenly transformed from a half-tailed beast to a full-tailed beast. Kunuya rode, Bagya rode. The giant octopus, which was nearly 150 meters tall, waved its huge body and took a picture towards Ye Huo and Minato. Ye Huo and Minato ducked out of the way in an instant. Ye Huo wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and quickly formed seals with his hands. Hai Shu Yu Shen Wei. Summoning seal is completed instantly. Ye Huo patted the ground and said, Tai Wen, come out. Bang. Carrying Bunta, who was approaching the 200-meter road, he appeared on the battlefield instantly. Wen Tai looked at Ye Huo and lost her voice. You brat, how come your magic has been enhanced so much? Hey, are you injured? Ye Huo chuckled, the opponent is very strong. Boss, this time I have fulfilled your wish. Look, is the opponent big enough? Bunta looked at the huge 8 tails opposite, and the corner of his mouth twitched. This is more than big enough. This is too big. Hey, Boss Wen, are you scared? Wen Tai took a deep drag on the cigarette, then spit Ye Huo on his face. Boy, pay attention to the tone of your words. Will I be cowardly? After the words fell, Bunta jumped up high and slashed towards 8 tails. Kunuya rode, 8 tails rode, tailed beast 8 volumes. 8 tails let out a thundering roar, and its huge body circled and began to spin rapidly. The terrifying chakra filled the air, and the huge body quickly circled, forming a terrifying tornado that directly bounced away Wentai's huge body. Boss, you put in the oil and I'll set the fire. Let's eat the squid. Good. Wentai threw down his sword and quickly formed seals with Ye Huo. Sage Art Toad Oil. Sage Art Fire Style, lots of oversized great fireballs. In an instant, a river of toad oil poured onto 8 tails. The terrifying great fireball instantly ignited the toad oil. 8 tails roared repeatedly, and the more it rotated, the more terrifying the power of the flames became. Bye, shrink quickly, I shouted while blocking Minato's attack. Bang! Killer Bee instantly released his tailed beast transformation. His whole body was burned to a crisp. Kuru Pressure Road, Bagaya Road, Big Brother, Double Lariat. Killer Bee raised his right hand high and entered the half-tailed beast form again. Double Lariat. This is Killer Bee and Raikage's ultimate move. They must not be allowed to display it. Ye Huo grabbed Samahata. It was cut towards Killer Bee. Killer Bee's 8 red chakra tails suddenly hit Ye Huo. Ye Huo was overjoyed. Samahata cut it hard and immediately swallowed the 8-tailed chakra completely. Samahata instantly became huge. The pure chakra immediately poured into Ye Huo's body. All the lost Chuck was made up for in an instant. Ye Huo is overjoyed. He was originally afraid that Chuck, who was more absorbed than Samahata, would betray him. Now it seems that he was worrying too much. Samahata was amplified 100 times by the system. It will never be the same Samahata again. His master can only be himself. After absorbing a large amount of chakra, Ye Huo was full of confidence and shouted, Boss, oil. Wentai opened his mouth and spat out a large amount of toad oil, and Ye Huo completed the seal. Sage Art Toad Oil Extra Large Great Fireball Technique. The monstrous flames and terrifying fireballs flooded Eye and Killer Bee like waves of fire. Chapter 38 Shocking the Ninja World, the terrifying Uchiha Young Patriarch. Bang! I suddenly threw down a smoke bomb. Minato stepped aside cautiously. Ye Huo shouted, "Boss, Feng." Wentai grabbed the 200-meter sword and slapped it. A strong wind swept through and the smoke dispersed. Killer Bee and I have disappeared. Ye Hu secretly called it a pity. This time it was Killer Bee who didn't know how powerful Samahata was, so he got the idea. I'm afraid it won't be so easy next time. Minato's face didn't look disappointed, but looked very happy. He looked at Ye Huo carefully and said with a smile, I really didn't expect Ye Huo that your strength would improve so quickly. In the entire ninja world, at your age, there is no one who can reach out like you. Ye Huo was not satisfied, my strength is still not enough. If I can be as powerful as Teacher Minato, we will definitely be able to keep I and Killer Bee. Minato smiled and said, your strength will definitely surpass that of the teacher in the future. Let's go back too, so as not to fall into Cloud Shinobi's trap. Ye Huo nodded and retreated with Minato. However, not long after, Cloud Shinobi suddenly sued for peace. Konoha was not very surprised by this result. It would be strange if the Mist Ninja dared to challenge 3 people at the same time without being defeated. But the spy came back with the news. But it shocked Konoha greatly. Rock Shinobi Onoki was cunning and besieged 3rd Raikage with 10,000 ninjas. Finally, the 3rd Raikage chakra was exhausted, and he died under the dust escape. This is the 3rd Ninja War, and the 2nd Cage died. Another amazing news is, Ye Huo's strength increased greatly again. With his master Minato, he severely damaged Cloud Shinobi Raikage I and the 8 Jinchuriki Killer Bee. I and Killer Bee's strength is extremely close to Cage level. He is a quasi-Cage level expert. The horror of its strength is something that Konoha Shinobi is well aware of. Often in just a split second, the Konoha Shinobi were killed by the brothers before they had time to react. But even though these brothers are so tyrannical. After all, he was no match for Konoha's Yellow Flash and Divine Fire Ninja. It goes without saying that Minato is Cage level. The higher-ups in Konoha originally thought that the injuries to I and Killer Bee were caused by Minato. But the news they got was, I was injured by Ye Huo's super large Rasengan. 8 Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee was burned by Ye Huo's Divine Fire. Minato seems to only play a supporting role. This news shocked the top management of Konoha. The former Uchiha kid, has it grown to such an extent in just 1.5 years? Cloud Shinobi surrendered. Ye Huo and Minato led the ninja army and retreated to the Konoha Shinobi village. It is up to Shikaku and the others to complete the negotiations. On this day, Ye Huo and his party finally returned to Konoha village. The roof of the Hokage office. 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, with his hands behind his back and a pipe and pot in his mouth, looked at the master and apprentice Minato Ye Huo who had returned victoriously at the gate of Konoha. Minato's smile is young and sunny. Ye Huo's little body was thrown into the air by the joyful people. Konoha village was caught up in a kind of carnival. Even the children of Konoha know the names of the Yellow Flash and Divine Fire ninjas. The title of Hero of Konoha was given to Minato and Ye Huo at some point. 3rd generation looked around the Hokage office again. Apart from the guards, there was not a single villager in sight. 3rd generation felt a little reluctant to take Hokage's position, but he was even more pleased that Minato was so loved. 3rd generation stroked his beard and sighed quietly, it seems that it's time to give way. 3rd generation turned back to the Hokage office and began to make arrangements for selecting 4th Hokage. A secret underground base in Konoha. There are huge glass jars one after another. The jar was filled with an unknown liquid. Children soaked in it one by one. Squeak. The wooden door opens. A figure walked in. Da da da. The crisp sound of clogs sounded rhythmically. The man walked over to a jar and checked the vital signs of the person in the jar. He raised his head slightly, revealing a pale and thin cheek. The pale golden pupils stared at the child in the jar. This man is none other than Orochimaru, the proud disciple of the 3rd generation and a powerful competitor of the Hokage. And here is his secret base for human experiments. The children's eyes were closed tightly, their bodies were severely deformed, and their vital signs gradually disappeared. Orochimaru drew a cross at the 012 position on the notebook. Orochimaru looked over the remaining dozen children. Then go back and start calculating the data. Are you still busy with these useless things? Now is the critical moment for you to compete for the Hokage. What you need to do now is to win over the major families in Konoha so that they can vote for you when running for 4th Hokage. In the darkness, a figure came out. With a bandage on his head and a cane, it's none other than Danzo. Orochimaru didn't even raise his head and continued to count the data. His hoarse voice slowly sounded, my contribution to Konoha is obvious to all. I can only be the Hokage. Danzo snorted, Orochimaru, Minato's reputation in Konoha is now no less than yours. The reputation of that brat Uchiha Ye Huo has also increased greatly now. Uchiha Fugaku has therefore become a strong competitor of Hokage. If you want to win the position of Hokage, I'm afraid it won't be easy. When Orochimaru heard Ye Huo's name, he suddenly stretched out his scarlet tongue and licked his lips, his golden pupils shining with strange light. Ye Huo-kun, his growth is really amazing. After saying that, Orochimaru continued to calculate the data. Danzo was furious when he saw that Orochimaru was so uninterested in the position of Hokage. Orochimaru, don't blame me for not warning you. If this continues, you will lose the position of Hokage. You can't be Hokage, you can't continue these experiments. I understand. You can go out first. I need to be quiet to calculate the data. You. Danzo turned livid with anger, shook his sleeves, and left angrily. Swish, swish. Orochimaru continued to calculate the data and conducted his human experiments day and night. In the past few days, Ye Huo returned to Konoha village and enjoyed the rare tranquility. The explosion of the detonating talisman could not be heard. There is no tension of swords and blood. Ye Huo felt very uncomfortable. Ye Huo brought Zabuza and Deidara out and practiced with him at Konoha's back mountain training ground. As a result, huge explosions often came from the back mountain. And the screams of two miserable ninjas. On this day, Ye Huo was fighting vigorously with Zabuza and Deidara. Fire-style great fireball, Rasengan. Boom boom. A huge explosion echoed through the training ground again. Anbu Ninja twitched his mouth. He did not dare to get close. He could only shout from a distance, Master Ye Huo, Master Hokage is looking for you. Okay, I got it, I'll be there soon. Ye Huo restrained the chakra in his body, looked at Deidara and Zabuza and said, you two, put on your masks and follow me. Deidara and Zabuza had expressions of relief on their faces. Finally, no more torture. Chapter 39. The peak hero of the ninja world. When? Ye Huo knocked on the Hokage office door. Come in. Third Hokage's solemn voice came from inside the house. When Ye Huo heard this voice, his heart tightened. Ye Huo immediately became extremely cautious. Slowly pushing the door open, he saw a group of ninjas standing inside, each wearing a Konoha Anbu mask. Ye Huo just glanced at it. He can sense it. These ninjas are very powerful. The worst is also Jonin. A few more are elite Jonin. Ye Huo's heart sank. It seems something big has happened. Master Hokage, you are looking for me. Ye Huo stepped forward and said respectfully. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength is definitely at the pinnacle among cage-level experts. Although Ye Huo's strength has greatly increased, he does not dare to be disrespectful in front of Ren Shang. Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly, Ye Huo, I want you to come with me. Yes. Ye Huo responded, bowing and guessing what happened. Set off. Sarutobi Hiruzen strode out. Ye Huo followed closely behind. Deidara, Zabuza and Konoha's Jonin also followed closely. A group of experts from Konoha arrived at the back mountain. 1,000 meters away from a mountain in the distance, a Hyuga tribesman suddenly stopped. The group of people was hiding in the dense woods. The Hyuga ninja said, there are two ninjas hiding at 500 meters at 10 o'clock and 600 meters at 1 o'clock. Judging from the chakra, they are both Jonin. Sarutobi then looked at Ye Huo and said, Ye Huo, go deal with it and don't alert anyone. Ye Huo nodded, and the Wanwatong Sharingan started to work rapidly. Advanced Sage Body Stimulation. The whole person disappeared from where he was in an instant. The next moment, one of the Jonin appeared in front of him. The blood-red million flower pupils stared at this Jonin's eyes. Jonin didn't even react and was directly hit by the illusion. Ye Huo's figure flashed again, and the same method was used to solve it quietly. Ye Huo came out and waved. The third generation immediately rushed over with many Jonin. The Hyuga tribe member looked at the wall carefully, and finally pointed to a smooth wall. That's right here. Third generation looked at Ye Huo. Ye Huo understood, stretched out his right hand, and the chakra quickly rotated and condensed into a blue-black Rasengan. Ye Huo snapped over. Boom! The mountain was exploded instantly. A hole appeared instantly. Whoosh whoosh! One after another figures suddenly shot into it. Ye Huo Sharingan swept slightly. There are glass jars everywhere. Filled with clear liquid. There were children inside. These children are all deformed. It looks disgusting and ugly. Ye Huo felt a queasy feeling in his stomach and felt a chill down his spine. Ye Huo finally knew that the purpose of this trip was to capture Orochimaru. He had admired Orochimaru for being the first to use scientific methods to explain ninjutsu. I admire Orochimaru for being a great scientist. But his crazy behavior. It's really outrageous. A living child. They should have had a happy childhood. Rejoice at the knees of your parents. But now they all died tragically as Orochimaru's test subjects. How many people died because of Orochimaru? How many people were separated from their wives because of Orochimaru? The little admiration he had for Orochimaru before turned into hatred. Ye Huo's eyes were fixed on Orochimaru. The pale palm still held the test tube. But at this moment, his hand stopped. Orochimaru slowly turned around, and under the light, his face became even paler and thinner. Ye Huo had never thought that this face was so evil. Orochimaru looked at Ye Huo. The scarlet snakehead licked his lips, and then turned his gaze to Sarutobi Hiruzen, with a husky voice with a hint of mockery. I said, who has such great ability and can break in so easily? It turns out to be you, the teacher. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at the underground laboratory. He couldn't believe that what he was seeing was actually real. Orochimaru, what are you doing? After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Orochimaru was slightly startled, and then a hint of disappointment appeared in his golden pupils. He knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't believe the facts before him. This may be because the master's affection for his disciple is too deep. But in Orochimaru's opinion, this kind of hesitation should never be said by a generation of forbearance heroes. Could it be that this is what people look like when they grow old? It's really sad. The disappointment in Orochimaru's eyes gradually increased, and he slowly said, Hiruzen-sensei, didn't you see it all with your own eyes? Why bother asking me again? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked pained. Why do you do this kind of inhumane experiment on living subjects? A weird smile appeared on Orochimaru's lips. Sarutobi-sensei, don't tell me, you don't know anything. Since the death of the first Hokage, Konoha has lost control of 9 tails without the power of wood style. I conduct human experiments and study first-generation cells in order to allow Konoha to regain a wood-style ninja who can control 9 tails. That's enough. Sarutobi Hiruzen yelled, Orochimaru, let's capture him without mercy. Orochimaru took out a kunai, stretched out the snake's head and licked it, sweeping evilly across every Konoha shinobi present. When the ninjas of Konoha saw this scene, they felt chilled in their hearts and couldn't help but take a step back. Only Ye Huo stood still, with his myriad flowers staring at Orochimaru. The corners of Orochimaru's mouth curved in a strange way, and he said slowly in a hoarse voice, Teacher, you will never understand that everything I have done goes far beyond ethics and morality, and I will not be taken lightly. As soon as he finished speaking, Orochimaru took action instantly, and the cage-level powerhouse's chakra suddenly exploded. All the lights around him went out in an instant, and the secret room fell into darkness. Orochimaru quickly shot towards the door, but Hiruzen smashed it with his stick, immediately knocking Orochimaru back. Ye Huo felt awe-inspiring. Is this a cage-level strong person? Sure enough, it is completely different from the quasi-shadow. Orochimaru, you can't run away. The third generation grasped the wishful golden cudgel that the monkey demon turned into, and guarded against the surroundings. Orochimaru braced himself to the hilt, and he did not dare to relax even a little bit when facing Hiruzen. At that moment, the master and apprentice fought dozens of times. None of the Jonin present could see clearly. Only Ye Huo's myriad flowers could keep up with their movements. At this time, Orochimaru was no match for Hiruzen. Completely crushed by Hiruzen, Orochimaru was immediately seriously injured, and just when Hiruzen was about to launch a killing blow, he suddenly remembered the past. At that time, Orochimaru was his most proud disciple. Smart and diligent, he can learn any ninjutsu instantly. Just like Ye Huo today, but when did he start to change? Hiruzen was stunned for such a short moment. Orochimaru took the opportunity to escape. Hiruzen was stunned on the spot, and all the Konoha shinobi, including Ye Huo, were unexpected. Chapter 40 Ye Huo chases Orochimaru, 3/6. Sarutobi, are you really old? The Rui golden cudgel revealed one eye and a big mouth full of fangs. Sarutobi Hiruzen just woke up from a dream. He gave the most difficult order in his life. It is now declared that Orochimaru is a traitor. Team Anbu will go after him. Ye Huo, you should also go after Orochimaru. Yes. Ye Huo added, then Hiruzen said, you should deal with it first, and then go after Orochimaru. Yes. Ye Huo lowered his head, with a hint of joy in his eyes. Others don't know it, but he knows that here is probably the only wood-style ninja in Konoha, Yamato. He was able to get Danzo one step ahead of him. The Anbu ninjas left one after another. Ye Huo ordered Zabuza and Deidara, search carefully to see if there is anyone alive. Deidara muttered, no, it stinks. Zabuza, you should wash them with water style first. Zabuza didn't bother to pay attention and walked over to check the children one by one. Deidara felt disgusted, put a hand into the clay bag, and made a clay wolf in the body of these deformed children. After searching for a while, I finally found a living one. But the next moment, the child's body suddenly turned into a tree. He couldn't die anymore, and even splashed Deidara with smelly water. Deidara couldn't help but curse, what bad luck. After a while, Zabuza and Deidara finished checking. The two shook their heads, meaning that no one was alive. Ye Huo frowned slightly, Sharingan glanced over, and finally saw a weak chakra inside a corpse. Ye Huo walked over and looked at the child in front of him. The vitality is very weak, almost non-existent. His appearance also bears no resemblance to Yamato. Ye Huo sighed. Could it be that Yamato was taken away by Danzo a long time ago? Ye Huo was thinking of this. The system's voice suddenly sounded. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host. You have obtained a low-level first-generation cell failure body. First-generation cell fusion 1%. 100 times reward trigger. 100 low-level first-generation cell failed bodies. First-generation cells fused by 1%. An advanced first-generation cell perfect fusion, 100% first-generation cell fusion.
Ye Huo was stunned for a moment, then a burst of ecstasy surged into his heart.
I thought it would be nice to pick up a wood-style ninja. Unexpectedly, I got a big deal this time. First-generation cell fusion reached 100%. I don't know if I can cultivate a first generation in the future. Ye Huo picked up the child and smiled. It seems that Orochimaru's experiment is not useless. Orochimaru is very familiar with the situation in Konoha. Plus he's powerful. It didn't take long to rush out of Konoha village.
Escape to the west side. Konoha Anbu is in hot pursuit.
Orochimaru used powerful ninjutsu and summoning techniques one after another, and many Jonin died in Orochimaru's hands. Even among the elite Jonin, 2 people were killed by Orochimaru. However, Orochimaru was severely injured by Hiruzen before. After fighting for more than 10 days, Chakra was extremely exhausted, and was stabbed in the abdomen again, causing more injuries. This day. Evening. A red sun slowly sets in the west on the plains of the land of grass. The entire sky was dyed blood red. The grassland also seemed to be painted with a light layer of blood. Orochimaru clutched his wound, staggering and continued westward. At this moment, thin mist suddenly rose in the grassland. Orochimaru was immediately alert, a sharp light flashing in his golden eyes. There was no seal at all, the chakra condensed, and when he opened his mouth and spat it out, a strong wind swept across, and the smoke in the sky dissipated instantly. Orochimaru's golden eyes swept in all directions, and finally settled on the northwest. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and his hoarse voice slowly sounded. It's Mr. Ye Huo.
A blade of grass shook, and the light suddenly changed, turning into Ye Huo.
The 3 Magatama in Ye Huo's left eye turned rapidly and turned into a million-flowered pupil. Ye Huo said slowly, Master Orochimaru is indeed so sharp. For more than 10 days, Ye Huo had been staring at Orochimaru, but he did not step forward rashly. He knew Orochimaru's strength, a real cage-level powerhouse. Able to fight Onoki. Extremely powerful. If he rushes forward rashly, he will most likely die at Orochimaru's hands. So he has endured it to this day. A gust of wind swept across the grassland. Ye Huo's long hair flutters in the wind. Ye Huo said slowly, Master Orochimaru, come back to Konoha with me. Orochimaru smiled, opened his mouth, and spit out a long snake. Then a sharp blade came out of the snake's mouth. The blade grew instantly and stabbed Ye Huo. Ye Huo quickly formed seals with both hands. Sage Art Super Powerful Rasengan. A 10-meter diameter blue-black Rasengan appeared in Ye Huo's palm and projected it towards the sharp blade. Boom. The sky seemed to have been hit hard by a giant hammer. Make a scary sound. Terrifying energy fluctuations suddenly struck in all directions. A large crater 50 meters in diameter was directly blasted into the ground.
2 figures suddenly shot towards both sides from the center of the explosion.
When the smoke dissipated, the 2 looked at each other from a distance of 500 meters.
Ye Huo looked at the sword in Orochimaru's hand. Under his powerful Rasengan, it didn't break. He couldn't help but praise, what a sword. Orochimaru's face became much paler, but he still smiled. I made 1,000 imitations of the pheasant sword, and this one is the only one that survives. It's pretty powerful.
This sword can transform 1 into 10,000, and it complements the newly developed ninjutsu I have developed. Today, let Ye Huo-kun show you the power of my ninjutsu. As he finished speaking, Orochimaru suddenly retreated, his whole body lying on the ground, and then he opened his mouth and made a sound of vomiting. Then, small snakes were seen emerging from Orochimaru's mouth.
The small snakes were only as thick as a hair in Orochimaru's mouth, but once they were completely spit out and exposed to the air, they immediately transformed into large snakes 10 centimeters thick and several meters long.
In an instant, tens of thousands of big snakes piled on top of each other, forming a wave of snakes more than 40 meters high. These big snakes spit out long swords from their mouths, overwhelming the sky, and rushed toward Ye Huo. Seeing this scene, Ye Huo felt his scalp numb. Damn Orochimaru. He actually learned such a difficult and large-scale ninjutsu. Ye Huo retreated quickly, biting his fingers and quickly forming seals with his hands. Hai Shu Yu Shen Wei. After the summoning seal was completed, Ye Huo slammed towards the ground. Boss Mrs. Wen, come out. Boom, there was a loud noise, and Wentai appeared on the grassland with a pipe and pot in his mouth and a 200-meter sword on his shoulder.
Wentai exhaled a puff of smoke and said slowly, you brat, the number of times you've summoned me recently has been a bit too high. Chapter 41. Tormenting Orochimaru, 4/6. Boss, get rid of these snake things first.
So many? Wentai was also surprised. He waved a 200-meter sword and swung it. The snake wave was immediately split into 2, but it rushed over like it was thrown into the tide and pounced on Wentai.
Wentai suddenly jumped back a mile and shouted, boy, you use fire, I use oil.
It's been prepared a long time ago. Ye Huo completed the seal, his chest bulged high, and he opened his mouth to spit. Sage Art Toad Oil Extra Large Great Fireball Technique. 100 great fireballs with a diameter of 30 meters were spat out instantly. The yellow toad oil suddenly burst into flames. Orochimaru's snake formation was burned clean instantly.
Orochimaru stood up straight. He licked his lips with a scarlet tongue, touched a handful of blood from his waist with his right palm, quickly formed seals with his hands, and slammed towards the ground.
Bang! There was a loud noise, and a big blue snake more than 150 meters long was summoned. It is none other than Orochimaru's summoning beast, 10,000 snakes. Wan Shi's evil pupils rolled up and he looked at Orochimaru. Why did you ask me to come out again? Are you ready to have 100 ninjas swallowed by me? Orochimaru said slowly, isn't the big toad in front of me better than 100 ninjas?
Wan Shi turned his head and looked at Wentai with slightly narrowed eyes. It is indeed better than 100 ninjas.
Wentai was very energetic and said sarcastically, smelly snake, if you want to eat me, it depends on whether you have the ability. Oh, really? Wan Shi's voice fell, and his huge body accelerated to ultimate in an instant, shooting towards Wentai like lightning. Wentai raised his sword and slashed at Wan Shi's head. Wan Shi tilted her head, dodged the blade, bit the back of the blade, and swung it hard without moving.
Sage Art Super Powerful Rasengan. Ye Huo condensed a blue and black chakra ball with a diameter of 10 meters. With the blessing of the Wanhua pupil in his left eye, the diameter instantly reached a terrifying 30 meters. Like a tailed beast bomb, it shot towards Wan Shi's head.
Orochimaru jumped to the ground. His hands stained with blood were pressed to the ground. Triple Rashomon, with Orochimaru's low shout, 2 giant doors 100 meters high appeared in front of Orochimaru. The next second, the blessed Rasengan with super power hit the triple Rashomon hard. Boom! The first 2 Rashomon gates were destroyed almost instantly, and the third Rashomon gate, after holding on for a while, began to collapse and finally turned into ashes. Ye Huo frowned slightly. Rashomon is indeed the most defensive ninjutsu. Orochimaru only summoned the 3rd level and blocked the attack with all his strength. However, Orochimaru's expression became more solemn at this time. Rashomon is the most powerful defensive ninjutsu of the 1st generation. Although I can only summon in 3 ways, but the defense is terrifying and extremely overbearing. But he didn't expect that it would be blown to pieces by Ye Huo's weird Rasengan. Is that still Rasengan? It's just a tailed beast bomb.
The next moment, Ye Huo's figure jumped up high, held Samahata with both hands, and slammed it down on Orochimaru's head. Orochimaru wields the pheasant sword, aiming at Ye Huo. The grass pheasant sword shot hundreds of meters in an instant. Ye Huo's myriad eyes rotated to ultimate, and in the flash of lightning, he curled up and blocked Samahata in front of him. When the grass pheasant sword shot at Samahata, directly knocking Ye Huo and Samahata away. Boom boom boom. Ye Huo knocked down more than a dozen big trees and then stopped. Orochimaru's legs turned into snake tails and he rushed towards Ye Huo at extremely fast speeds. Ye Huo's left eye turned rapidly and activated the illusion. Orochimaru's body froze suddenly, and the blade of the grass pheasant sword was less than 1 centimeter away from Shin Fang's eyes. Ye Huo slashed at Orochimaru's head. Almost at the same time, Orochimaru broke free from the illusion and swung the grass pheasant sword to block Ye Huo's slash. Orochimaru's eyes were full of admiration. Ye Huo, Konoha has decayed, and Uchiha has been abandoned by Konoha sooner or later. A genius like you should not be buried in Kuchiki, follow me. Orochimaru, you're at the end of your rope, so let's just surrender.
8 inner gates are open. Ye Huo's momentum suddenly increased tenfold.
Ye Huo turned sideways and whipped Orochimaru's head with a whip. Orochimaru blocked with his right arm, but was knocked away by Ye Huo's powerful force. Orochimaru flew hundreds of meters upside down and broke a dozen large trees. The wound on the waist almost tore the entire waist, and it will be broken soon. He turned even paler. This kind of injury would kill an ordinary person, no, even a cage-level expert. But Orochimaru is still alive. Its vitality is strong and terrifying, which can be seen in a Madara. Ye Huo didn't step forward again. He knew that Orochimaru also had a super powerful body replacement technique. At this time, it should be used. Sure enough, Orochimaru's mouth suddenly grew, 2 hands stretched out from his mouth, and opened Orochimaru's mouth, and a new Orochimaru covered in mucus came out. The wounds all over his body have fully recovered. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly. Orochimaru's own Orochimaru body replacement technique, it's really amazing. However, this chakra is also very consumed. Orochimaru's chakra plummeted by a third. Orochimaru licked the Kusanagi sword in his hand and said slowly in a hoarse voice, Ye Huo-kun, you are worthy of praise for forcing me to use this ninjutsu.
But the next moment, Orochimaru's expression changed again. There is less than 1/10 of the chakra left in his body. Orochimaru looked at Samahata who had doubled in size in Ye Huo's hand, and said slowly, Ye Huo-kun also has a good sword. Ye Huo concentrated and said, Orochimaru, your chakra is less than 1/10, and you can no longer use powerful ninjutsu. Ye Huo has just received Orochimaru's chakra supplement, and the chakra in his body is full again. Ye Huo sighed inwardly. Orochimaru is really powerful. He only absorbed a small amount of his chakra. The meridians can no longer be accommodated. Orochimaru is truly worthy of being the leader of Sannin. Now he is on the brink. There will never be another opportunity like this in the future. Ye Huo took a deep breath and suddenly threw out a seal scroll. The scroll unfolded, and figures jumped out from the scroll. 80 ironwood puppets appeared in the air. Chakra threads shot out from Ye Huo's chest and shot to the puppet's body. Red secret skills are practiced with hundreds of machines.
Orochimaru was extremely solemn, with cold light flashing in his golden pupils, holding the Kusanagi sword tightly in his hand. Go! Ye Huo shouted loudly, and the puppets all over the sky pounced on Orochimaru almost at the same time. Orochimaru's pheasant sword extended infinitely, cutting more than 10 puppets in two with one sword. However, the remaining puppets have already rushed towards Orochimaru, surrounding Orochimaru tightly. Chapter 42. Smash Danzo's head, 5/6. Wind Style Great Breakthrough.
Orochimaru's chakra quality changes to wind style.
The strong wind pressure immediately blew away the surrounding puppets. But the next moment, more puppets rushed over and slashed at Orochimaru's body, cutting off Orochimaru's hands and feet, and the grass pheasant sword fell to the ground.
Orochimaru opened his mouth. The next moment, the intact Orochimaru completed the molt and quickly escaped from the puppet.
Ye Huo was about to chase him, when suddenly dense black insects flew from the sky.
The black bug bit off his chakra thread in one go.
The remaining puppets instantly fell from the sky.
The overwhelming black insects crawled towards him along his chakra line.
The secret insect technique of the Uru clan. Ye Huo cuts the chakra thread at once.
He retracted the chakra thread and brought the grass pheasant sword with him.
Ye Huo grasped the grass pheasant sword. Suddenly, I felt a thought lingering inside the grass pheasant sword. Ye Huo smiled coldly, but unexpectedly, Orochimaru also left a seal in the grass pheasant sword. However, this is of no use to myself. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for getting a fake pheasant sword. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 fake pheasant swords. 2. A true divine pheasant sword. Ye Huo simply ignored 100 fake pheasant swords.
Look directly at the introduction of the true god grass pheasant sword.
The true god grass pheasant sword, one of the 3 ancient god tier weapons, is also known as the Sky Zongyan sword. It is extremely tough and sharp. It can be attached to chakra and extend 10,000 meters in an instant.
Ye Huo looked at the true god grass pheasant sword in his hand and felt happy. Another good weapon. Ye Huo stuck the true god grass pheasant sword on the ground.
Afterwards, Ye Huo quickly formed seals with both hands. Sage art fire style lots of extra large great fireballs. Red flames instantly filled the entire sky. Countless black bugs were instantly burned to ashes. Ye Huo Sharingan was running rapidly, and he saw 2 figures, one black and one yellow, shooting towards him rapidly.
One of them shouted loudly, "Lord Orochimaru, you go first, we will stop him first."
Orochimaru glanced at Ye Huo and quickly ran away to the west without thinking.
Want to leave? It's not that easy. Ye Huo grabbed the true god grass pheasant sword and chased after Orochimaru. The ninja in yellow clothes made a heart shape with his hands and aimed at Ye Huo. The next moment, Ye Huo suddenly felt that his body was occupied by someone. He lost control of his body. Is it the Yamanaka clan?
Damn, I was really careless this time. I capsized in the ditch. Ye Huo watched as the ninja from the Yamanaka clan fell to the ground opposite him. The ninjas from the Uru clan had already rushed over, but he was helpless.
At this critical moment, Bunta suddenly jumped over and slashed at the ninjas of the Yamanaka clan. The ninjas of the Yamanaka clan released their ninjutsu in an instant. Escaped this fatal blow. Ye Huo recovered instantly, his figure flashed rapidly and changed position.
At the same time, the tip of the true god Kusanagi sword was aimed at the ninjas of the Yamanaka clan. The next moment, the Kusanagi sword grew instantly and penetrated the chest of the Yamanaka clan ninja. Noma, seeing that Ye Huo could not be pursued, the Uru secret ninja on the side quickly retreated to the side of the Yamanaka clan ninja. He
hurriedly took off his gloves and pressed his fingers on the chest of the Yamanaka clan ninja. The wounds of the Yamanaka clan have recovered visibly. Ye Huo was surprised for a while. Sharingan turned to ultimate, and saw a large number of insects gathering on the chests of the Yamanaka clan ninjas.
The insect's mouth is like a needle and thread, tightly connecting the wounds of the Yamanaka clan.
Under the medical ninjutsu of Uru ninja, the wound was quickly repaired. Ye Huo secretly thought that all the major families in Konoha have their own secret techniques, which should not be underestimated. But since you are my enemy, then let's all die here today.
Ye Huo holds the true god grass pheasant sword, and the tip of the sword is aimed at the heads of the Yamanaka clan.
But he couldn't. His head was pierced and he could still be saved. However, at this moment, a chill ran down Ye Huo's spine, and Ye Huo wielded the true god grass pheasant sword and struck behind him. When, jab lala, the grass pheasant sword and a strange sword struck together. The hilt of this sword is a kunai. The sword body is made of condensed wind blades. This strange sword actually blocked Ye Huo's true god grass pheasant sword. Ye Huo turned around at this time, and in front of him was a man in black, with his right eye covered and his left eye full of ferocity.
Ye Huo recognized him at a glance. The guy in front of me is that old guy Danzo.
Wind-style vacuum sphere. A large amount of chakra condensed, and his chest bulged high. Danzo opened his mouth and spat out, and a series of vacuum waves shot towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo's Sharingan was running ultimate. He retreated and turned his head slightly, but his cheek and left arm were still scratched by Danzo's vacuum sphere. Ye Huo was furious. You old silver coin actually attacked me unexpectedly. Ye Huo was just about to form a seal with his hands when the group leader once again accumulated a large amount of chakra. Wind-style vacuum Lianyu. In an instant, vacuum sphere shot at Ye Huo again. Ye Huo had to interrupt his hand seal and block it with the true god grass pheasant sword. Ye Huo tried to use ninjutsu several times, but was blocked by Danzo. Ye Huo suddenly jumped on Mrs. Wen. Rely on Bunta to block Danzo's attack. Ye Huo quickly formed seals with both hands, multiple avatars. Ye Huo refines 10 units of chakra to create 100 Ye Huo. Each Ye Huo rushed towards Danzo with the true god grass pheasant sword in hand. Danzo narrowed his eyes slightly, opened his mouth to take a breath, and then opened his mouth to spit it out from left to right. Wind-style vacuum wave. A wind-style condensed semicircular wind wall swept towards the 100 Ye fire in front of him. 100 Ye Huo were all scattered in an instant. Not the real person? Danzo frowned slightly and looked around.
Still no sign of Ye Huo. Danzo seemed to think of something and raised his head suddenly.
A sword light fell from the sky. Danzo's pupils shrank, he had no time to react, and his head was instantly pierced. Ye Huo's figure also slowly descended from the sky, looking at the dead Danzo in front of him. But the next moment, Danzo's body suddenly disappeared in front of him. Izanagi. Anger arose in Ye Huo's heart. This is Uchiha's ninjutsu. Damn Danzo. Ye Huo's figure instantly disappeared from the spot, and the next moment, several vacuum spheres struck. Ye Huo's figure flashed, and he was in front of Danzo, and activated the illusion with his left eye. Danzo was stunned for a moment, and everything in front of him turned black and white. He formed a seal with his hands and whispered, "Open. It's worth it to let me fall under the illusion. It's worth it." Before Danzo said his classic line, Ye Huo stepped forward and struck Danzo with his fists and knees, beating Danzo until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen in an instant. Chapter 43 Let me be Hokage? 6/6. Ye Huo burst into flames. Danzo's head was directly smashed by Ye Huo's physical skills. However, Danzo's figure dissipated into nothingness again. Ye Huo turned around again, looking for Danzo, but there was no one in sight at all. Want to trace from chakra, but there are chakra groups everywhere. This is the secret technique of the Yoru clan, use bugs to confuse. This move made Sharingan and Byakugan unable to tell the difference. Very annoying. Ye Huo could only watch the surrounding chakra groups gradually disappear. At this time, Orochimaru also completely disappeared. Ye Huo cursed endlessly and had no choice but to return to Konoha. Wait until Ye Huo returns to Konoha, only then did Ye Huo know. The Hokage election results are out. It was Minato who elected the Hokage. This did not surprise Ye Huo at all, but he got a piece of news. While campaigning for the Hokage, his father actually also attracted a large number of votes. But Orochimaru's loyal subordinates all turned to Minato. No one supported Uchiha, and the look he looked at Uchiha was filled with anger. Ye Huo finished his mission and came to Ichiraku Noodle House to eat ramen. The two ninjas who were eating noodles on the side glanced at Ye Huo, put down the uneaten noodles, and left. The whispers of two ninjas came to Ye Huo's ears. He is Ye Huo, the Orochimaru-sama whom he helped third generation capture. The third generation is old. Orochimaru is doing experiments for Konoha. Orochimaru was forced to leave by the third generation in this Ye Huo. HMPH, Uchiha, you also want to be a Hokage, don't even think about it. Ye Huo suddenly couldn't eat anymore, he thought about Fugaku's words in his mind. Don't get involved in the Hokage selection, but he was still involved. It was third generation Sarutobi Hiruzen who personally pulled him down. Ye Huo only came back to his senses at this moment. Minato is in Konoha. Why didn't Minato go to capture Orochimaru?
And let him follow. Now he finally understands. There are only 3 reasons for this.
First, let Uchiha offend Orochimaru's old loyalists. As a result, Orochimaru's old department will definitely not support Uchiha. Definitely rooting for Minato. Minato became a Hokage. 2. Orochimaru's old tribe became a major force to contain Uchiha because of their hatred of Uchiha. The two balance each other to ensure that Minato can survive the early power transition smoothly.
3. Sarutobi Hiruzen definitely doesn't want to kill Orochimaru. If you let yourself take action, you probably won't be able to take down Orochimaru. Orochimaru can be spared. Kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Well, what a Sarutobi Hiruzen. The methods of the superior are really mastered by you.
An unknown anger suddenly surged into his chest. In vain did he think that he could be trusted because he was loyal to Konoha.
But in the end, he still became a pawn in other people's hands. Being abandoned arbitrarily, Ye Huo's eyes were filled with blood and he strode towards Hokage's office. He wanted to ask, why did Sarutobi Hiruzen do this? Is Uchiha so untrustworthy? In a rage, Ye Huo went straight in without knocking. Anbu tried to stop Ye Huo at the door, but Ye Huo roared, get out of here. The two Anbu immediately took out their swords and looked at Ye Huo with great vigilance. The peaceful voice of third generation came from inside, let him come in.
Ye Huo pushed open the door, broke in, and asked, why?
Third generation was standing in front of the window at this time, with his hands behind his back and his back to Ye Huo. He took a sip from the pipe pot, slowly exhaled a cloud of smoke, and said slowly, if everyone in Uchiha could be like you, I will not make such a move. Besides, Minato is your teacher and you have a good relationship. Don't you want your teacher to do Hokage? As he spoke, third generation slowly turned his head, staring at Ye Huo with his deep eyes. Ye Huo suddenly woke up at this time. The third generation in front of me is not a bad old man. At this time, he still has the power to intimidate the 5 major countries. Ye Huo suppressed the anger in his heart. Taking a deep breath, Minato sensei is my favorite teacher. I naturally hope that he can be a Hokage, but I don't like to be taken advantage of. Third generation smiled, Ye Huo, everything I do is for Konoha. You are far more talented than your father, but Uchiha can't have 2 Hokages, I mean, do you understand? Ye Huo was shocked when he heard this and looked at third generation in disbelief. Master third generation, do you mean to make me the 5th generation after the 4th generation? The third generation chuckled and said, I didn't say that. I'm already an old guy, and the 4th generation is still young. If you want to get to the top, I'm afraid it's still early. I understand, Hokage-sama, I apologize for my recklessness.
Third generation waved his hand and said slowly, Orochimaru, did you run away?
Ye Huo nodded, Master Orochimaru is very powerful. Although I caught up with him, I still let him run away. Please forgive me, Master Hokage.
Third generation was silent for a moment and said slowly, it's not your fault. Orochimaru is one of the Sannin after all. You can rest for a while and then report to Anbu.
This is 4th generation's request for you to become his direct bodyguard. Yes. Ye Huo retreated, his head lowered, but there was no trace of joy in his eyes. Let me be the 5th generation and lie to children. Think I will believe you. Strength, still strength, my strength is still not enough. Ye Huo clenched his fists and returned to the clan.
At this time, the clan members also looked at Ye Huo with evil eyes.
They all also know that it was because Ye Huo was chasing Orochimaru that Uchiha did not get the position of Hokage. Ye Huo looked at the cold eyes of his tribe. He seemed to have seen the 4th level of Hiruzen's intention in asking him to hunt down Orochimaru. Let Uchiha, the largest clan in Konoha, be at odds within themselves. Weakening Uchiha's power again, Ye Huo walked into the house, and Fugaku was sitting on his knees. He heard the footsteps and did not look back. Makoto glanced at Ye Huo but said nothing. Itachi sat on his knees and remained silent in this depressing atmosphere. Ever since he time traveled, he had never felt such a depressing family atmosphere. Ye Huo came over and knelt down to the side. Fugaku finally spoke slowly, I heard that you joined Anbu and became Konoha's direct bodyguard. Ye Huo raised his eyebrows and couldn't help but said, old man, how did you know?
Fugaku hesitated, is this what you get for betraying Uchiha?
Makoto turned pale with fright after hearing this, and said hurriedly, Fugaku, Ye Huo is still young, he must have been taken advantage of. Ye Huo's face also darkened, and he said coldly, whatever I want, I will use my strength to get it myself, instead of using such dirty methods.
Ye Huo stood up suddenly and walked out. Fugaku slammed the table and shouted, stop.
As soon as the voice fell, 3 Jonin suddenly appeared at the door of Uchiha, blocking Ye Huo's way. Chapter 44. Instantaneous Uchiha 3 Great Jonin.
Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly. The expressions of the 3 Uchiha Jonin on the opposite side changed. They all opened the 3 Magatama and looked directly at Ye Huo. Ye Huo slowly turned his head and looked at Fugaku, what does this mean? Fugaku said slowly, you should give the clan an explanation for your actions.
Explain. During the Third Ninja War, I made great achievements for Konoha, improved Uchiha's status, and enabled the common people of Uchiha to open Sharingan. What do I need to explain? Just because I went after Orochimaru, Orochimaru's loyalists sided with Minato-sensei, and you, Fugaku, did not become the 4th Hokage because of this. What do you want me to explain? Explain that I did it on purpose, to prevent you from becoming a Hokage, for my own benefit. Ye Huo's voice became deeper as he spoke, a scarlet color emerged from his eyes, 3 Magatama slowly moved in his eye sockets, and the surrounding temperature suddenly dropped by more than 10 degrees.
Fugaku said slowly, follow me to the tribe and explain the whole story to the tribe. At this moment, Ye Huo seemed to be able to understand why Itachi betrayed Uchiha and even wiped out the Uchiha clan himself. Not going. Ye Huo turned his head and strode away.
3 Uchiha Jonin immediately surrounded him. 3 pairs of 3 Tomoe Sharingan, staring at Ye Huo. Ye Huo, you can't leave until things are explained clearly.
Yes, if you betray the Uchiha clan, you must be punished. Ye Huo's 3 Magatama suddenly turned into thousands of flowers.
At that moment Ye Huo took action. 1 punch and 2 kicks knocked away 3 Jonin.
The battle was over in an instant. Fugaku looked moved. Ye Huo's strength has far exceeded his imagination. At this time, even he was not absolutely sure to win Ye Huo.
Elder brother, Itachi suddenly shouted. Ye Huo paused for a moment. Finally, he strode away. Makoto shouted, Ye Huo, where are you going? Ye Huo stooped and left the Uchiha tribe. Hokage office, 3rd generation technique looks at this scene with a telescope.
A cloud of smoke blew out of his mouth. He looked at the smoke. His eyes gradually deepened. His eyes gradually drifted away.
After a long while, he murmured, only by learning to endure true loneliness and loneliness can a true ninja have the qualifications to become a Kage. Ye Huo left Uchiha and went directly to Minato's house. Arriving at the door of Minato's house, he was about to knock on the door, but his hand froze in the air and did not fall down. At some point, the wind started blowing. The sky also became gloomy.
Heavy raindrops fell down. Wow, it rained heavily in an instant.
Ye Huo stood in the heavy rain, still knocking on the door. Didn't leave, didn't go in. He was troubled in his heart. He didn't know if Minato knew that he was being plotted against.
If Minato didn't know, it would be a good thing, but if Minato knew. Ye Huo suddenly clenched his fists, his eyes suddenly became sharp. Dang dang dang. Ye Huo finally knocked on the door.
Here we come. Kushina hurried over and was stunned when she saw it was Ye Huo. Then she hurriedly pulled Ye Huo and said, it's raining heavily outside, come in quickly.
Ye Huo didn't move, looked at Kushina with scarlet eyes and said, no, is teacher Minato here? Kushina seemed to notice Ye Huo's unfamiliarity with them, put down her hand, and said in a very calm tone, Minato was sent out by Lord Hokage the night before Orochimaru's defection, and he has not returned yet. Ye Huo was stunned. What, teacher Minato is not in Konoha, so he doesn't know that he was elected as Hokage?
Kushina smiled and said, so you also know that Minato has been elected as the Hokage. This news spreads really fast, but only that fool doesn't know that he is already the 4th Hokage. When he comes back, he will definitely be shocked. Quote.
Ye Huo's hanging heart finally relaxed. Mr. Minato doesn't know. He had nothing to do with it. Okay, that's really good. Hiruzen, you have done a good thing. Ye Huo grinned and hurriedly went inside. Hey, master, hurry up and find me some dry clothes. I'm soaked through and feel so uncomfortable. Kushina didn't know what happened though, but she knew clearly that the unfamiliarity between Ye Huo and them disappeared the moment she learned that Minato was not in Konoha. Kushina also breathed a sigh of relief, and then laughed and scolded, you brat, it's okay to stand in the heavy rain by yourself, and you have to ask me to serve you when you get wet. I'm really unlucky to meet Minato and you, master and disciple. Kushina found some clothes and handed them to Ye Huo. Ye Huo changed his clothes and said with a smile, Master, take care of me now. When you give birth to the baby, I will cover him in the future. Whoever dares to bully him will be beaten until his mother doesn't even recognize him. Kushina poked Ye Huo in the forehead with a look of disgust on her face. It's just you. You can't even take care of yourself, and you still want to take care of my Naruto. Have you decided on a name already? I was still thinking about choosing a name. It's too late. Master, you will have a baby soon. Kushina touched her belly with a happy smile on her face. There are still 6 months left. As he spoke, Kushina lowered his voice and said, you must never tell anyone about this. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. I'm going to leave for a while. Please, master, please go and talk to my mother when you have time. Just say I'm going to practice. Kushina asked curiously, why don't you say it yourself? Hey, please, master. Ye Huo didn't answer directly, and quickly formed seals with his hands. Anti-summoning. The next moment, Ye Huo disappeared from the place and came to Mount Myoboku. Prepare to practice again and strengthen your strength. Kushina was going to give birth to little Naruto in 6 months. Obito will come to Konoha at that time. Obito will pull 9 tails out of Kushina's body. In this case, Kushina and Minato will definitely die. He doesn't have many relatives in this world. Minato and Kushina are both teachers and friends with him. Naturally, he didn't want them to die in the 9 Tails Rebellion. At the same time, only when you are stronger will you have a greater say and will you not become a pawn of others. Ye Huo took out a piece of white paper from the seal scroll. This is chakra paper. The ninja's chakra properties can be tested. Chakra has 5 attributes: fire, wind, thunder, earth, and water. Ye Huo holds the chakra paper in his hands. See what attributes of chakra you have. Chapter 45. Chidori Thundergun's 100-fold range, 2/7. With chakra infused into it, the chakra paper wrinkled instantly. Ye Huo felt happy. This is the genus chakra. Lightning style is definitely a powerful ninjutsu. However, the next moment, the chakra paper split instantly. Ye Huo was stunned for a moment. This is the wind attribute chakra. The wind attribute chakra is the rarest, not bad.
The next moment, the chakra paper burned into ashes. This indicates that Ye Huo has 3 attributes of chakra.
Wind, fire, thunder. Ye Huo wiped his chin, thinking about the direction of cultivation. His fire style is extremely powerful, but it is restrained by earth style and water style. Lightning style restrains earth style and also has a certain restraint effect on water style. More importantly, he now possesses an artifact called the True Divine Grass Pheasant Sword. If the lightning style is combined with the True God Grass Pheasant Sword, it will definitely be able to exert huge power. Lightning style, violent explosion, full of masculine power. Similar to fire attribute chakra. So the chakra has 2 attributes, thunder and fire. There is a high probability that they will appear in one person at the same time. Ye Huo's chakra fire attribute is dominant. It means that chakra nature can be transformed into fire-style ninjutsu by forming seals without any special training. The thunder attribute is recessive. If Ye Huo wants to use thunder ninjutsu, he must practice chakra nature transformation. This is a difficult cultivation process. Ye Huo once again took out a series of ninjutsu scrolls. Most of these ninjutsu scrolls were taken from Cloud Shinobi after he killed him. Ye Huo unfolded these scrolls one by one. Learn how to transform chakra nature transformation into thunder. Ye Huo read through all the scrolls. If you want to transform chakra nature into thunder, you need a specific thunder seal to mobilize chakra for nature transformation. Ye Huo's Sharingan copied many lightning-style ninjutsu. Reikiri is the simplest. There are 3 mudras of Reikiri. Ugly, Mao, Shen. Ye Huo quickly formed the seals and immediately felt that the chakra flow path in the body had changed. Streams of chakra flow into the palm of your right hand and gather into blue chakra. But the chakra rioted so violently that it turned into thunder and lightning. Ye Huo frowned. His Sharingan is an exact copy of Kakashi's Reikiri.
But seeing how to use it and using it yourself are 2 different things.
It's better to use Wanwapu. Ye Huo's eyes suddenly appeared scarlet. The 3 Magatama in the left eye rotate rapidly.
Finally it turned into a snowflake. In an instant. Ye Huo felt that the wild chakra in his body suddenly became as docile as a kitten. Ye Huo formed the seal with his hands again. Ugly. Mao, Shen.
The chakra immediately moved along a strange trajectory to the right palm. A wisp of blue chakra flutters in the palm of the hand like a flame. Crack. Suddenly, an arc of hair thickness appeared from the palm of his hand.
Ye Huo is overjoyed. The power of Wanwatong is really powerful. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing a trace of chakra nature transformation for Lei. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 lightning arcs. 2. Master chakra nature transformation. Ye Huo didn't think twice and said directly, I choose 2, master chakra nature transformation. As Ye Huo's voice fell. The next moment, Ye Huo had a lot of information in his mind. At the same time, my body seemed to undergo some strange changes. Ye Huo has a feeling. He can perform thunder nature transformation at any time if he wishes. Ye or not with both hands. Plenty of chucks pouring into the right hand. Crack, crackle, a blazing white lightning appeared in the palm of Ye Huo's right hand.
The lightning was as dazzling as an incandescent lamp.
Thunder arcs kept flashing. Ye Huo looked at the frog statue on the side. Then gently pat your hand over. Boom. There was an explosion, lightning flashed, and a dent was made in the stone statue. The dent was extremely irregular. The damage is flat. Instead of focusing on a single fatal attack, Ye Huo frowned slightly.
He knows it too. His Reikiri is a work in progress.
A change in form is also required. To become a sharp spear. Ye Huo forms the seal again. A large amount of chakra is transformed into a wisp of white thunder power that is 1 foot high and flame-like. Ye Huo's left eye began to move rapidly. The left eye is a little sore. But the next moment, Lei Li in Ye Huo's palm became extremely well behaved. It keeps changing its shape according to Ye Huo's will. Ye Huo raised his palm, attached the thunder power to his palm, formed a thorn shape, and then stabbed towards the stone statue again. Kai. With a soft sound, Ye Huo's right hand was completely submerged into the body of the stone statue. A smile appeared on Ye Huo's lips. Ding, congratulations to host for completing its morphological change. Close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. Master 100 morphological changes. 2. Mastering a form change increases the power 100 times. Ye Huo took a closer look at the 2 rewards. There are many changes in the first type, including Thunder Gun, Thunder Leopard, Thunder Bird and so on. The second type has only one change, which is the Chidori Spear. Originally, the Chidori Spear could only be released for 15 meters, which became unsustainable. However, after a hundredfold increase, the longest shooting range reached 1,500 meters. Ye Huo thought to himself that it was useless to be so fancy.
Lightning style requires a thunderous strike, a fatal blow.
I choose to master the Chidori Sharp Spear, which will increase its power 100 times. The next moment, Ye Huo felt the changes in his body and arms again.
All the information about the Chidori spear was completely realized by his instinct.
It was as if he had practiced it countless times. He knew it clearly. How much chakra is used, how long the Chidori spear can be condensed. Ye Huo mobilizes 1/3 of the chakra in the body. His right palm was aimed at the stone statue in front of him.
100-meter-long blazing white lightning lightsaber shot out instantly.
It penetrated the stone statue in one go. Ye Huo raised his palm upwards.
The stone statue was instantly cut into 2 pieces. A smile appeared on Ye Huo's lips. He now has complete mastery of Reikiri and Chidori spear.
I also want to continue developing Chidori style and lightning style Kirin. But my left eye has started to sting. Ye Huo stopped hastily and began to warm his eyes.
For the next 2 months, Ye Huo did not use his left eye again.
Instead, he kept trying to practice Chidori Ryu. This morning, Ye Huo sits cross-legged in an open space on Mount Myoboku. There are wooden dolls placed all around. There are circles between the dolls' eyebrows. The next moment, Ye Huo suddenly opened his eyes. The 3 Magatama spin rapidly. The chakra in Ye Huo's body is running wildly. Make quick gestures with both hands. Lightning style Chidori style. Stab, stab. There was a shrill scream, like 1,000 birds chirping in unison. 9 thumb-thick white lightning arcs instantly hit the circles between the eyebrows of the 9 puppets. Ding! Congratulations to host for mastering the Chidori style. 100 times reward trigger. 1. Super Chidori style. Up to 900 ordinary lightning currents can be used each time. 2. Super powerful Chidori style. The power of the 9 arcs is increased 100 times.